Hello, you're listening to... I forgot the intro.
We just said it.
Hello, you're listening to the 107th ever episode of Chismes And Menudo. He is...
Ricardo, and she is...
Adriana, and we are...
sitting here with the lovely and talented Miss Marissa Nieto.
Yay! Bravo! We need to have the button thingy, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Is Nieto your maiden name or your...
It's my maiden name. I didn't change my name. I know. I don't have a checking account with my husband. I don't change my name. Yeah.
Scandalous. You're a modern woman.
I thought, well, okay, so I did change Facebook for a while because I thought like I was going to change it. And then when I actually like was going to go do like the process of like changing it, I cried. I cried. And I was like, why am I crying? But like, and I just sat my husband down and I was just like, dude, like I probably didn't say dude, but I was just like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't know. I love my name's my name. Yeah. Like, and I thought about it too. I was like, well, am I just doing it because I don't like my husband's last name, which his last name's fine. But I was like, okay, if I was marrying like Brad Pitt, would I change my name for Brad Pitt? And I was like, no. So then I was like, okay, I just want to keep my name. Yeah.
Oh my God.
For me.
I changed my name for Brad Pitt.
Same.
Destroy the new.
The whole podcast thing, it's crazy, dude, because even when you figured it out, shit could still go wrong.
I was watching your episode 000.
Oh, right, yeah.
I could see the transition. I love it, to be honest. It's really dope.
It's fun, it's challenging.
All you guys worked at Addison Improv, huh?
Oh, I never worked there.
Oh, you never worked there?
Yeah.
You just got banned from there?
No, I got banned from the other one.
Oh, the other one, okay.
Check this out.
Oh, yeah. Film all up in there. Chef up and shit.
Look at me, dude. I don't have any dietary restrictions. I should, but I don't.
What was up with the earring in your fucking ear? Was that your girlfriend's earring that you were with?
No, some chick just left it over at my place.
Do you do that when they leave their bras too?
Yeah.
Destroy the Nunez lineage.
I know, for real. Well, I took my husband's last name, but we had already had kids.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, oh, they're all going to have the same last name, and I'm over here like...
Right, yeah.
You know,
I think...
Because I thought about it too. I was like, well, damn.
A lot of people do say that, yeah. We don't have any kids, so we don't have that yet. But
yeah.
I think even if we did have kids, I would still be like... give them my name. Or like,
oh,
I don't know.
really?
No, I wouldn't. I would let them have his name, but I think I would just be fine with like, I don't know. I think there's also something sexier too about like not having the same last name.
It is,
because like
dude.
celebrities, like they'll like, even if they do change it, they'll still go by like their stage name or whatever.
Yeah.
Or hyphenate it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
would you
his last name's
hyphenate
too
your
long.
kids?
Oh, hyphenate our kids? No, because I feel like it'd be like too long. Because then they start sounding like a law firm, right? It'd be like Nieto McMullen. Like that's like too long for them.
That actually sounds
That
so
does sound
nice.
like a law firm.
That actually sounds so nice.
Actually, kind of a little bit.
Yeah,
it rolls off
dude.
the tongue.
Say it again.
His last name's McMullen.
Nieto
Nieto
McMullen.
McMullen.
Yeah.
Well, it would be
like-
the reverse though, because I think the
McMullen
guys goes
Nieto?
first.
Oh, does it?
I
Oh,
think so, yeah.
Oh, then never
Or is
mind.
that just in
Scratch that.
Mexico?
I think that's a Mexico thing. I don't know.
No, in Mexico, it's
Oh,
the McMullen. Like your property of
your
McMullen.
property. Oh gosh. See,
Yeah.
and that's
it's patriarchy.
It's like it's a patriarchy.
Yeah.
But I did, so my whole life though, like I would like any guy I thought was hot, I would like my name and like their name.
Oh really?
Yeah,
So
I
you
was
never...
like doodle. I thought like I was for sure gonna change my name, and then when it just came down to it, I was just like, I can't do it. And like all my friends have changed their name. I think for the most part, except like my friends that got married in their 30s, I think they're
still
no,
kept
like, I'm
theirs.
keeping it.
Yeah.
But it's also like a hassle. It's a hassle to
Yeah.
change it, and then God forbid
Right.
something happens, it's a hassle to change it back.
Right. Yeah.
That
I mean, I'm in
sucks.
it for the long haul, but
Yeah.
just to make it clear.
I mean, my marriage is fantastic. But, you know,
But just in case.
there are others.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like marriage is such a crapshoot. Like you don't
Dude,
know
yeah.
if it's gonna work out. Like especially like having kids. Like a lot of my friends that have recently had.
This episode is sponsored by Tina's Mechanical Services. Are you tired of the relentless Texas heat turning your home into an oven? Look no further. Introducing Tina's Mechanical Services, your trusted HVAC experts ready to cool things down and keep your family comfortable. At Tina's Mechanical Services, we understand the struggle of battling the sweltering Texas temperatures. Our dedicated team of skilled professionals is here to ensure your HVAC system runs efficiently, providing you the perfect escape from the sun. With our state-of-the-art HVAC solutions, you can say goodbye to uncomfortable nights and hello to restful sleep. Whether it's installation, repairs, or maintenance, Tina's Mechanical Services has you covered. And here's the best part. For a limited time, use the exclusive promotional code Back to School for a free quote. Don't wait, this offer won't last forever. Take control of your indoor comfort and beat the Texas heat with Tina's Mechanical Services. Reach out to us today at 469-682-2405 to schedule an appointment. Tina's Mechanical Services, your comfort, our priority. Stay cool, Texas. Promotion valid until August 31st, 2023. Discount applies to HVAC services only. Cannot be combined with other offers. Contact us for more details.
Recently had kids. A lot of them are going through couples therapy. Like people I thought like were the strongest ever. It's just like, man, like you just never know. Or just like life
Yeah.
events that happen. Like you just never know what's gonna happen.
or you just grow apart.
You grow apart. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
like because if you've been with someone for so long and y'all
Right.
aren't going the same direction,
Right.
you can't help but have to part ways,
yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
that's
think
crazy.
now I think people think a lot differently of like divorce
Yeah.
than before. Like
Yeah.
there's this writer, Glennon Doyle. She was talking about like when she was thinking about getting a divorce, her final thing was like she was staying in together for the kids, and she's finally like, do I want this marriage? Like, would I want this marriage for my daughter?
Yeah.
Like, would I want this marriage for my kids? Like, for them to have this kind of marriage? And she's like, I can't do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, you never know. You've been with your husband for how long? 11 years?
We've been married for 11. I think we met maybe like almost 14 years ago. So it's been
Okay.
a long time.
So me and my husband have been together for 14 years.
Oh, nice.
And we got married, I think 7 years after the fact. So, but we've been together a total of 14. So
Yeah.
it's already like, we're already.
yeah,
and
we're
it, like-
very committed.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
like
give you my
14
youth. Like
Exactly.
what more do you
100%.
want from me?
And my vagina.
Yeah, especially you. You had 5 kids with the
That's
dude.
wild.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But 2 of them were C-sections, so those 2 don't count. My
C-section
vagina is
babies
still
don't
Still,
okay.
but isn't it a longer recovery process?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you gave your
yeah.
body. Like,
But my vagina is not as
yeah.
damaged as if I had actually
It was
had the
all 5.
Yeah, no, just kidding. Vagina stretch. Thank you so much. And they stretch back.
Yeah, my grandma had 6, and I think the last one just like fell out. Like she didn't make it to the hospital. It just
Yeah,
like, in the
because
parking lot.
your body's like, yeah, we know what we're doing.
Man,
We got it.
that's a lot.
What?
It always trips me out. You have 5 kids.
I know it's 5, and they're
I
all
like that they're your
boys.
like nephews, and you're still
Yeah.
like in shock of like.
Yeah, the oldest is like 12.
Yeah, he's going to
That's
middle
wild.
school.
That's
this year.
awesome.
Yeah, I love him.
He's going to middle school. Fuck.
I know, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Well, enough about me. We have to talk about Marissa. Dude, we've been seeing you all over Instagram. Like, the person that was like, you should have Marissa on was Carrie.
I love Carrie. Carrie's a dream.
I was
He's
like,
incredible. I love
Carrie,
him.
do you think he would want to come on? And he goes, yeah. Or she, and he's like, yeah, you should ask her yesterday. He's the one that was like, okay, fine, I'll do it.
He's so
Yeah.
sweet. I love him so much.
I
We've done a
love
bunch of shows
him.
together, and he's such a unique voice in the comedy scene. I think just like his background and just he's just hilarious.
His story is
the best
wild.
stories.
Yeah, we had him
I
on
love
and we
him.
almost cried.
Dude, yeah, we
Because
did.
he told us all about his husband, how they met in the military and all that. And we were
Yeah.
just like, holy shit, this is a movie.
Yes, it is a
dude.
movie. Yeah.
It should be a movie. Why
should be a
isn't there
movie.
like an LGBTQ like production studio that will make this?
I know.
Or even like a
Carrie's
regular.
gotta- I know. It needs to be.
He
made.
should write-
It's
he
romantic.
needs to
He needs
write
to
it.
write it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then get someone to produce it.
Man, and like just everything, like total, like just everything that he went through, and then
Yeah.
like even with his son, that's not biologically his stepson, I guess it would be,
Yeah.
that he like helped raise. That was
Yeah, because his husband was married previously,
yeah.
right?
When because he had already had his baby when they met, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Because he's a little older, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, he's
crazy
the best.
story.
yeah, love Carrie. Well, tell us about you. What is
Yeah.
your like thing? We want to know everything.
Yeah.
Like you said, you
from
had told us
birth
that
or-
like from birth.
Birthday,
What-
social security number, credit card number.
What time of the day were you born?
I believe I actually looked it up because I was trying to do some like
The
charting
chart, yeah.
stuff, and I think it's like 12:06, like in the afternoon. So
Oh,
kind of around
okay.
this time.
Oh, okay.
That's when I was born. I'm an
Nice.
Aquarius, so I
I
feel
don't
like
know
a lot of
anything
comics
about Aquarius.
We are. I think we're supposed to be like creative. So there's like a lot of stand-ups that are actually like Aquarius, like February babies.
Makes sense.
We're also like very aloof. So I feel like I get that comment a lot of people are like, they think I'm like a mean person or just that like I'm just so
No.
distant. And I think it's just like, oh, that's just like
Why?
I am.
A lot of people say that about my brother too.
Yeah.
That he's very standoffish and very like.
I
Just to
like
myself.
that though. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, maybe because I'm from California. So like
Oh.
Texas, like overly like nice and polite. Sometimes like I always question it. Like I know it's just like kind of part of
Yeah.
like
The slow
the culture.
Yeah.
But you're such a sweetheart. Like I actually have to thank you because I think was it like 2 weeks ago you were like, oh Marissa, you're actually in front of me. Like you can sign up like here. Like you saved like
Oh, yeah,
a
you
spot for me on like the
Well, I
open
saw
mic
that.
list.
Yeah, because Comedy Arena, it's just so many people that show up, and it's like
Yeah.
first come, first serve, and then you also have the blocked like sections.
Right.
So I was just like, oh, Marissa, I know you were here probably like a half hour before me, so go ahead.
Yeah. Oh.
Very nice. So yeah, but I never thought that about you when I see you around the mic. But I also feel like, I mean, I need to do better about like, because my husband's like, you don't say hi to anybody. Like you're just like, and just
I don't say hi to anybody I don't know. I feel weird
Yeah.
going up to people and I'm like, hey, I'm Ricky. Like,
Right.
you don't want to know me. Like, why am I doing this? This doesn't matter. That's why it took me so long to like make friends in the comedy scene. It was
Yeah.
probably like I was in it probably for like 5 months before somebody was like, hey, I see you around a lot. Like, let's talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody has to bring him in.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm totally the same way. And I think, I don't know though, at the same time, like there's so many different people doing comedy that it's like, should we be saying hi to everyone? I don't know.
Well, I will
But-
say, like being an outsider, like
Yeah.
there is different
I think that's the
cliques, you
yeah,
know.
and I think that's actually the coolest thing about comedy is like the comedy itself is just like the common denominator and what matters the most. Like people have like some people are lawyers and some people, you
Yeah.
know, there's just like different spectrums of what people are doing with their life. And then just like ages and
Yeah.
ethnicities and sexual orientations. But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, are you funny or you're not funny?
Yeah.
And that's just like, that's really cool.
That's what's awesome, honestly. And then to see people that wouldn't normally interact.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talk.
1,000%. Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But my goal for the rest of the year is to try to be nicer, not just like nicer, but just like go out of my way to say hi to audience members. Cause my husband was like, you need to be more like, cause I've opened for some like, you know, like older comics that have been in the game for like 40 years. And like, you'll see them after shows. They'll go up to everyone, just be like, hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like the newer comics that are headliners, like they just kind of like retreat to themselves. And my husband Ryan's like, just go and like say thank you to people.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. Like I should just like, because that's an easy thing. And it's true. Like I'm thankful that they came out to support the show.
And they're genuine, like could be like once you blow up is people
Right.
that are gonna be talking about how they were
Right.
there or like when you were
yeah.
not like the main person there. What is
Yeah.
that called?
What do you mean?
When you're not
the host
hand-
or the feature.
yeah.
or-
What
okay.
is the thing?
Headliner?
So
it's
the
like
headliner, feature, host, MC.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
MC.
So whoever, if you're not the headliner, like, but there's still people that want to see
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's cool. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah.
They just went out and talked to the audience members.
Yeah, like after
do.
the show, yeah, they'll just go out. Well, because some of them like too, like they'll sell merch. So that's like obviously they're talking to people if they're selling merch. But even like they'll just kind of stand by like where everyone's exiting and like,
Oh,
thanks
that's
for coming
cool.
out.
I went to see Nick Mullen in Fort Worth, and he did that, which I was actually kind of surprised because he's like pretty big.
Yeah.
He's a very tiny man, though. He's like really short. He's like 5'6".
I admire that though. I think that's what I'm now striving to be like because I'm such a like recluse that it's like, no, like I should go at least say thank you, you know? And I think I know it sounds so silly, but it's like, I think I just didn't even know what to say, you know, to people and like just having like the verbiage of like, I'm like, thank you, which is like the easiest thing in the world. Like, okay, now I can do that. Just say thank you, Marissa. Just like,
I wouldn't know how to like close it out though. I get so nervous with like closing out conversations that I just start going nuts and saying the stupidest shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you really have to. Like, I tried going with a little bit of game. I'm like, thank you. Usually they'll say something nice or crazy. And then if they like seem like they, like I'll ask their name if they seem like, oh, what's your name? Or like, what brought you out? Or just like stuff like that. And people are really nice. Like sometimes like, I'm sure you've experienced this, like they'll want to buy you drinks and stuff. And someone, cause like I'm not a big drinker, but someone was like, just don't ever say no to a drink. Like even if you don't drink it, like just like take it. Cause they're like trying to be nice to you. And especially like, I think like in the Mexican culture, like I know my grandma, like if I say no to something, she's like so offended for like ever. And it's like, even if I don't want like something, I'll be like, okay, yes, I would love another burrito. Like it's the same kind of concept.
Yeah, you can't say no.
Yeah, you can't say no.
But it sucks too because I feel that way with everything else now. Like I can't say no to anything anymore.
That's true.
You know, because then I feel like shitty.
Yeah.
But
because then you feel like, especially with doing the podcast, like with us getting guests, it was really just like we just kind of started it probably like at the end of last year. So saying no to somebody that wants to come on, we feel very much like, well, we never had guests before. We just started this. Like we feel like an obligation to be just saying yes to like everybody.
Yeah, that's totally relatable. Because sometimes, you know, something's not a right fit. Or like, I know even like with running shows, like people will like approach and like, sometimes like this is the honest answer of like I'll keep you in mind. But I feel like that's my staple, even if like, I know it's not a good fit right now. Because you never also know with comedy, like when someone's gonna like figure it out. You know what I mean? Not even like go viral, but like when their jokes are gonna get better or like whatever. Because like, yeah, maybe it's not a good fit now, but maybe in 3 months, like they've really like been grinding hard and you see the improvement. You're like, oh yeah, I'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah.
So
how long have you been doing stand-up?
So my comedy journey. So I did an improv class first, like 7 years ago. I read like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler's books, and they talk about like doing improv. I know, I love them so much. They talk a lot about like doing improv in Chicago, and I was like, oh, I should do improv. Like, I'll try it. And so I tried it at Dallas Comedy House, which is now closed, but I tried it there and then I didn't like it. But I also feel like I should have gone to see a show. Like I didn't even go see improv. I was just like, I'm going to take this class. And I was like, that was not probably the right way to approach it.
You're just like Tina and Amy did it.
Yeah, I was like, I could do this. But yeah, so I took the class and then I was like, oh, I don't even know what this is because I'd never even gone to watch. And then like midway through that class, I heard Whitney Cummings on a podcast and I'd never seen her stand up, but like I just heard her talk about comedy and I was like, oh, stand up sounds great. And then immediately after the improv class, I took a stand up class because I knew they offered it that as well at Dallas Comedy House. And then I also had never seen a stand-up comedy show. I'm like, what am I, like, looking back, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I just like to have, like, the arrogance of, like, oh, I'm just going to go do this thing. I have no idea what this is. So I took the class, and the class was amazing. But because I'd never seen stand-up or, like, didn't really understand the world, I think I did, like, one open mic, and I didn't even know how, like, that really worked either. Like, I was so naive. Like, I signed up for it, you know, like, some places like they'll post the list or whatever ahead of time. I thought like, oh, the people that are like last, they're the best ones. So I thought it went in reverse order because I was like 28 out of 30. So I thought that meant like I was going first. Like I thought they were doing reverse. So like when I went to the mic, I asked the guy, I was like, I'm going up soon, right? He's like, no, you're 28. Like you're going at the end.
So you
thought it was like first place, second place.
Yeah, kind of. So then I was like, oh gosh. And then, I didn't like join, like, I just didn't talk to anyone. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to improv. So then I went back to improv. I did that for like a year. And then after that, I finally went back to stand up. And so that was like almost 6 years ago where like I finally went back to stand up and like was like, okay, I've seen a stand up show now. I have somewhat of an understanding of what this is. But it's weird. Like I didn't even grow up like watching stand up. Like my mom, I remember like when I was little, my mom would listen to like Jeff Foxworthy and it'd be like the guy who does like I Know You're a Redneck one.
Yeah. But
because like I grew up in California, like I didn't think rednecks were real. So I was like, this is so stupid. These people aren't even, that was like Bigfoot to me. Like I had no idea. And I was like, if this is what stand-up, this is stupid. Like, this is so dumb. So I just thought that was stand-up. And then I moved to Texas, and I was like, oh, rednecks are real. They're very much real. So kind of because of that, I mean, I think when I was in like college, I was on MySpace, and I think I saw a couple clips of like Dane Cook. He was really popular at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But I never like watched a full special or never went to a show. So yeah, when I started doing comedy, that's when I like started watching an actual special and started going to like a show and seeing like what it's like. So it was a very bizarre.
I remember being on MySpace and seeing Dane Cook everywhere.
Yeah.
And he was the first comedian that I like, because I had like George Lopez, obviously, like pretty much all the old school Mexican comedians I had seen from a young age. But Dane Cook was the first one that I saw that blew up.
Yeah.
In like that big way on MySpace. That was crazy.
Yeah. And I know now like a lot of people hate on Dane Cook, but
I know.
I don't know what, like, I mean.
But why?
Because I think his whole thing like at the time was everybody thought it was like douchebag comedy.
Yeah.
But it was
like
still
frat boy comedy.
Yeah. His tour was called Tourgasm, so that kind of had a little bit to do with it.
Which one's the one where he was in just like that circle?
That was Madison
looking.
Square Garden. I think it was what was it?
That stage?
I don't remember what it was called, but that was like his biggest one.
I remember that one.
It was huge.
That one was crazy.
And like I've heard like Bert Kreischer talk on his podcast about like at the time when Dane Cook was like the biggest, like he's like no one crushed harder than Dane Cook. Like and so so he gets a lot of hate now. I know he's like some controversy. I think he's like engaged to like a 23-year-old that he groomed or something like that.
Okay.
But that was like he
groomed her?
I heard.
Oh, wait, I take back everything I just said.
No, but I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard, rumors. But he was getting hate before that. But I think a lot of that is like jealousy. Like even with Matt Rife right now, like a lot of people like hate on him. But he's been in the game for like 10 plus years and
since he was 16.
I don't understand the hate around Matt Rife. I think it's just because he's handsome.
He's so hot.
Can I just say, I don't think he's attractive. I think that's a
He's
weird take, but like
I think he's
like
he's a
pretty.
comedy 10.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think a lot of people are like,
I think when you categorize that way, he's a comedy 10.
And
there's no doubt, okay?
He's got to put an asterisk by his name.
He's a 10, but in comedy.
Yeah. Normal person, like 7.5. No, but I think just like to each their own, like, but yeah, when I see like his crowd work clips, like it's like, oh, I get why people are into it. But comedy also too is just like very subjective. Like, you know,
it's an art form. I mean,
it's an art,
is subjective. Honestly, the way that I've seen people, even like the newer comics and the older ones, just like go off, just the stage presence. That's a craft. That's
some people
art.
I'm so jealous of those people. Like they're like 10,000% just like charisma and like maybe the jokes aren't there, but people are just like drawn into them and just like I'm not like I have to really work at my jokes, like that's not my strength, but it's fun to see those people who are just good at that.
Regardless of what you're doing on stage, it's like you're up there.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah,
because it's like this weird thing of like you somehow like it's like a mishmash of like you have to have the material, but also you have to have like the stage presence of like I can have people be engaged with what I'm doing, even though it's not like the best. But then there's the other people that are like the opposite of like what I am writing and what I'm putting into the work is like, that's why you're here. And I'm just going to stand right here in the middle of the stage and I'm not going to like move around there doing
That's Ralph Barboza, I feel like.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Ralph is just kind of like standing there. When I went to go see him in Oklahoma, like I saw more of him like moving around. He was doing like, he did this one joke where he was talking about like having a gun but like not having bullets for it, which was really funny. But that's when I saw him like move around a lot more, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, Ralph is so amazing. I think Ralph maybe started a little bit before me. So like to see him like go from like open mics to like Netflix special that he just taped this weekend, like it's so incredible. And he's like the nicest, kindest guy. And so it's like so cool to see like someone so genuinely like a good person get this much success. It's like really cool to see. Plus it's just like, I think it's good for like us to see like someone succeed that like came from Dallas, and especially 100%. Someone like that's Hispanic. Like, I mean, I think there is something of like 100%. Seeing yourself represented that way. So yeah, it's just like really awesome to see.
Honestly, once he blew up, it was like go, go, go. Like,
and that's the thing, like, you know, Ralph, every opportunity I feel like Ralph has had, like he's exceeded the expectations for whatever he got. And so, yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, I love him. And I love his ojeritas. I love him.
You always say that.
I know, he's so cute. What is he, like 23, 22, 23?
No, he's like 27
now.
26.
26.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm over here talking about him like he's like this
he's a
really
baby.
young like
well, he
kid.
looks like he looks really young. And
young.
he is like, to have this much success, like he is like so young. So
in the in the game, he's very young.
He started pretty young because he probably started when he was like 19, 20.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's the best.
When I had first started, I saw him at an open mic. And I was like, oh shit, he's really fucking good.
I mean,
I thought everybody here sucked.
Well, I would say like even like through like last summer, he would still be doing like open mics. Like when he got back from like being on the road, he would still like pop in, especially like at DCC. I feel like up and through like maybe early fall of last year, he was still like here. And I know like he does shows and stuff, but I would still see him at the mics and stuff, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I don't think he could go now though, huh?
I mean, he could if he wanted to, but he's like, he has so much stage time now, like, because he's always on the road. Like, he has at least like 6 shows a weekend that he can like work on stuff.
Oh,
I'm sure if he wanted to, like, everyone would love to have him at the mic.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be a great
At that
show.
point, that's a show.
Yeah.
Like, they gotta start charging these people, all the comedians in the
That'd be
crowd.
fun, but then I feel like he'd do like 45, just like fuck it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No, that'd be fine. I don't think anybody would be like, get off the stage, bro.
I would give me my 5 minutes.
He's like, you get your
He would
time.
never. He's such a nice guy. But yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, like, what made you come to Dallas? Like, where was the move from California to Dallas?
I came for work, and I legit thought it would be for like a year. Like, I thought we had just gotten married. I think we were married like 6 months at the time. And we're still young, and I was just like, let's just try it. Like, because at first I thought the job was going to be in Houston, and my husband's like, absolutely not. Like, we cannot go to Houston. But then Dallas was a little bit easier of a sell. But then he was able to find like a job out here, like an even better job than what he had in California. And yeah, I feel like the job opportunities are really great here. So.
Yeah.
Damn, y'all started the problem here. God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, so that's another thing. I know there's a lot of hate. Please don't hate. I'm sorry. I came 10.5 years ago before it was
That's true. That's true. No, she started it.
Yeah, it was my fault.
was
Yeah,
just
I'm like COVID patient one. Like, yeah, I'm shocked that we're still here, but
Do you think you'd ever leave?
oh yes, 1,000%. I want to, like, every day. But we had like a property line dispute on our house, and so we finally got that like settled with the lawyers. And then but the thing is, like, they have to rebuild the wall before we can like sell our house, because we've tried to sell.
Wall.
I know, it's like I have to keep following up on this thing and say that all the time, but it's been like 2 years and they still haven't rebuilt it. So I'm just like, hopefully it's soon, because when we've looked into selling it, they're like, oh, this is like too complicated. Like, you have to get that like figured out before. So we'll see once that happens if
you'll leave.
If we'll meet. Yeah, if we'll move.
Back to California.
I don't know. I would like, if I was single and not married, I would move to New York, because I think that's like the best place to go for comedy. Even though like LA, I think they say like go to New York to get good, go to LA to get famous. But I think there's just like, to me, it seems like it'd be easier to grind in New York, just because you're taking out like the driving aspect of it. Plus, like, there's just something so magical, I feel like, about New York. Like a contagious, like, energetic thing that makes you want to be the best.
Yeah, I would love to be in New York. That'd be so cool, especially because there's so many open mics. Like I listen to a lot of like comedy podcasts, and they're like, there's one down at the laundromat, and then also there's a comedy club here, and they're all in the same street. You can do 5 in one night, as opposed to just doing one every night.
Yeah.
It's like it just ramps it up to where you're like, I can work on this joke tonight and have it completely set, even though I just wrote it like this afternoon.
Yeah. So. I mean, here you can do multiple mics some nights, but you have to drive. There's a lot of driving in Dallas, and like the same thing in like LA, even if it's not as much distance, it's like the traffic's so bad.
Yeah. So is the traffic not as bad as in New York?
Well, because they're taking,
there's no driving.
There's no driving, so you're just like taking the subway or you're walking. Even though like the subway can be like tricky, but I don't know.
Have you gone out to New York to do stand up?
No, I haven't. No. I want to. I've done stuff in California, like shows out there. But yeah,
not in New York. Isn't it more like gritty, like the comedy?
New York,
like you have to be more like
New York or LA.
New York. You have to be more like gritty, like more daring.
Oh, interesting.
In your comedy,
probably.
I think probably on the coast there probably are more like that because I think here like a lot of the audience members are
sedated.
But they can be like, they can lean like more conservative, even though like Dallas is like a blue county or whatever. I feel like there are for sure certain shows. And then like you just have to be like clean when you open. Like there, like you're doing more like showcases and stuff. So you have like more freedom to just tell the jokes that you want. But for here, I feel like if you're coming up and you're trying to be like an opener, like you have to have like a clean 15 to 20 minute set. So you might not be necessarily talking about all the things like you want to talk about. Plus, if you're like starting the show, like it's hard to like just talk about like death or like certain topics are just like harder to talk about at first. But
true, because you have to get the crowd warmed up and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, starting the show is hard.
It's so hard.
Even in open mic starting it is hard. I did that this past week and I was like, fuck, I haven't done this in a while.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's the worst, but it's like, it's a skill set. You've got it. Plus, even if you're not starting the show, but something happens during the show and then you're kind of like restarting the show, it's kind of like that same thing. If like something's gone awry, you have to have that skill set of like being able to reset the show.
Oh, shit. I'm not doing that. That sucks.
It's a lot that goes into like getting prepared to actually like do a show, you know?
Yeah. Even if it's not a show though, right? Like even if it's just a stand-up, like an open mic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what your process is. I try to go in with like a mindset of like, oh, I'm going to try these new jokes out. I think it's definitely like a balance because sometimes like you're in a situation at open mic where like you know that either the owners or like bookers are there. So like you want to do some of your better material. But at the same time, like you need to work on new jokes. So it's like, this is gonna suck, but it's like we have to get through this because that's the only way this is gonna get better.
So then open mic, you only do new material?
No, not only new material, but like I try to do like newer stuff there if I can. Sometimes like right now, like I'm going back to old jokes that like I just stopped doing. Yeah, because I took a break. Like I took off the entire pandemic. So that was like a year and a half. So some of the pre-pandemic jokes, like I stopped doing, or like when I got back, like I did them and I just didn't feel like they were working right. But then like other people have been like, oh, what happened to this joke? What happened? Like, and I'm like, oh, I should try to bring those back or like just work on them. Or even like jokes that I have, like, sometimes it's easy, like if you have a joke that works to just kind of like leave it that way. But it's like, oh, this could be like a 3-minute, 4-minute joke if I like added more tags to it or added another perspective to this. So I think as I try to like stretch out my set, like I want to have like new, fresh ideas, but at the same time, like audiences can get like fatigue if you're throwing out like so many new things. Like if you can just have like a longer chunk, it's easier for them to stick with you.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that too.
What's like your writing process? Because I see you and I'm like, oh, she gets in her bed and like a comfy blanket, lights a candle, pours some wine.
That'd be a funny TikTok to do.
versus how it actually is. Like, I gotta write something down.
I know. I'm just like, the frantic. So I try to do like I've taken like a class with like Dean Lewis. I don't know if you've like heard of him, but like a lot of like the best comics in like this scene have like like Peng Dong, Paul Varghese, like a lot of people that are big in the scene have taken his class. And so he has like a structure that he kind of teaches. So I try to like do that. But I always just like, I jot things down in my phone. So if I have like an idea, I'll put it in my phone and then like I'll try to like write more on that later. So sometimes it is like me really sitting down and writing things out, but then sometimes it is just like frantically before the mic being like, okay, what was that thing about fish? Like, what was I doing?
What is your best joke? Has it been written in a frantic moment, or has it been written like when you were like sitting down and like, or do they just change so much that
I think it changes? And like, okay, so I'm like a big Taylor Swift fan. And so like when she talks about like her writing process for music, I was like, oh, that's like identical to like me for jokes. Cause sometimes like jokes will just almost come like pretty complete. Like I'll just get an idea and it's like, oh, this is like pretty much exactly like then how like I tell it. But then sometimes it's just like I get a premise and then I have to like fill in the blanks, and that's when like you have to kind of use like your like craftsmanship of like, oh, how does like a joke work? Or, you know, I need to add an act out here, so you're more crafting it more. And then some jokes like I still haven't figured out. Like there's some things like I think are really funny, but they've never worked on stage. So I'm like, I hate it so much. But then like I've like heard other comics and like seen like I think like a documentary I saw Jerry Seinfeld on. He said it like took him like 17 years or something crazy to like figure out one joke. Like he just always kind of had it like. But I think that's true. Like I think you never know like, when you're gonna finish. Like
I guess experiences in life add on to the joke maybe.
Yeah. Or just like something finally clicks of like, oh, like that's how I should say. And then like jokes are just ever like evolving. And a lot of like people who talk about like specials, they're like, immediately after I film a special, I think of like 5 tags.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot where they're just like, damn it, let's go back.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're in a good position. I don't have a special yet. So I'm just like, you know, when I can. But then also sometimes too, either like you'll say something in the moment, like you'll riff and you'll be like, oh, I need to add that like next time.
Do you record all your sets?
I do. And I've tried to. I hate the sound of my voice.
Yeah.
It's so hard to listen, but I think that's how you get better.
Yeah. Whenever I record a set, I mostly listen to it like on the way back home, where I'm just like, fuck it, like I'm not going to put any music or podcast on. I'm just going to listen to the video or record it. And I'm just like, by the end of it, I'm just like, oh, suck. It's so stupid.
Yeah, definitely. But and then like also too, sometimes I'll re-listen because I think it's easy for me to forget sometimes how a joke works. Like if I haven't told it in a while. Like last night, the show I did, there was a bachelorette party. And so I have some older jokes about like my husband going to a bachelor party and then also like our honeymoon. And like I couldn't even like remember the whole joke. So I just like kind of said some of it, like the premise, and those got lost. But I was like, oh shoot, I wish I would have remembered like the full joke of this. So yeah, it's just like it's work, man.
Yeah. I hate when that happens. Like I've been on stage where like I'm telling a joke, but I tell it like I mix it up, the structure of it, and I'm so pissed because I'm like, this is the only way that I can think of how to say it right now, even though I know how it's written and how I say it normally.
Yeah,
shit pisses me off because it just like dumps out of my brain. I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah,
goddamn ADHD.
Because I think there's some things where like it is nice if you can like sound fresh in the moment and like say it like a little bit different. But there's certain words to a joke like you need to say that word, like that word specifically is what makes it funny. Yeah. So
it sounds like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a puzzle.
That's crazy.
It also feels like an escape room sometimes where you're just like, how do I get out?
To what you were saying about like writing a joke, like I have one joke that I wrote when I first started, and I would do it like 3 or 4 times. Like, I know this is funny, and then I just found out like how to make it funny.
Yeah, and that's the best. I think that's like one of the best feelings too, is like when you finally like figure out a joke, especially one where you're like, I love this joke.
Yeah.
I love this. Why is this not working? But it's, and then also too, like other comics, I'm sure you've like seen this too, will give you tags or like give you suggestions. Like, and some people are just like, I call them like tag kings and queens, like Barry Whitewater, Pete Young, Greg Catapoti, like they're so good at giving tags, like they're just like little geniuses. So like it's nice too when you have people that are generous that well, I mean, sometimes people will say stuff and you're just like, okay, get lost. Or they try to give you advice and you're just like, okay, no.
No,
but
I feel weird giving and getting advice.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I've tried it like with some like just friends.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, like try this. But like you don't have to, you know, like I just get really insecure. Like you don't have to, it's kind of dumb, but like if you said this after and then blah blah blah. And they're just like, oh, okay, cool. I'll think about it. I'm like, they didn't like it. Fuck. Why am I even here?
No, I think that's great though, especially because like you don't know either. Because even if someone gives you a tag, you might genuinely think like, oh, this is good, and then you try it and you're like, oh, that didn't work, or it could. So I think it's great if you like think of something. Also, I think it's just like a nice gesture of like, oh, I actually listened to your set. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes it feels like no, and then it's like
that feels right to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice that they're actually listening.
Yeah. That's cool.
Sometimes they're not.
Yeah, which is like understandable. Like, we're in our own heads. We're thinking about our own sets or our lives or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I do like about Comedy Arena a lot. I find myself writing a lot there. Like if I just write down like little notes throughout the week and then I'll get there, I'm like, oh, this can get added. Like I feel like the energy in there is very much like very funny. So I'm just like, okay, this
it's a great vibe. I think they tried doing it like upstairs, but I think like doing it downstairs, like the way everything echoes, it's kind of like doing comedy in a shower because like the laughs are like magnified. So it's like a nice supportive
and everything's
acoustics.
so close.
Everything's so close.
What is the upstairs? Because I've seen like the windows. Is that downstairs?
That's the downstairs. Yeah. Upstairs is actual like proper showroom.
Oh, okay. So it is actually like I thought it was just like a restaurant that was called.
Oh no!
No,
yeah, you guys
comedy.
should go see shows. Yeah, they have like a lot of
We
great
just
shows.
started going in to see shows to
nice.
go out and support. Like we went to Anthony's.
At Reno's
Chop Shop and Develop, and then we went to Noah Shark's his comedy fest. We went to that one.
Oh, nice.
And so I've just now started to go. So I didn't know about Comedy Arena.
Yeah,
Like that they had two different levels. Right?
Yeah, Comedy Arena is great. They have shows every weekend. They have like people coming in from out of the road.
They get really good people. Like I opened for Gary Veter there last month, and he's Sam Morrill's opener. So like they're constantly having like bigger and bigger acts there. So I'm really excited for them. Like when they first opened, like they were just doing like showcases of like local stand-ups, but now they've really like opened it up to like national headliners. So it's really cool.
That's crazy, dude.
Gary Veter's funny.
He's really funny. He's like the night. So his stage presence is more more kind of like similar to Ralph, I would say.
A little more muted.
Yeah, a little more muted. But like he's very personable and like in person, like he's like really nice and friendly. So I was like, oh, thank God. Like, because like you just never know like if people are going to be like exactly what their like stage persona is or whatever.
Yeah. Do you think you are?
I don't know. I think I come off worse off stage unless I talk to people or like I know someone, because I think I am like so standoffish. So I'm sure like there's a lot of people, or like people will say like, oh, you're not fun. You don't talk to anyone. I know. You don't talk to anybody, but I think it's like a similar thing of like, unless like I know you or whatever, like I feel like my close friends in comedy, like I'm probably pretty similar to what I am on stage.
Yeah. I've heard of like a lot of comics just leave right after. Like they don't stick around for anything else. They just leave.
I've done that. I mean, I think it depends, right? Like if it's like an open mic, because a lot of people too, you know, they have day jobs, so or they have like family lives, or they're just tired. I feel like that's me a lot. I'm just like, I'm just tired. But I think, you know, it is good, and it's good to support the community and get to know people, and because it's like one big ecosystem. So like even if you know, you're not on a show with someone, you know, right now you might be down the road, and you never know. I feel like you can learn something from everybody, even if it's like someone can be used as a bad example. So I think that too, of like you see someone do something like you're like, oh, I should not do that. Like,
yeah, we're big on that actually. Like just learning on
other people's mistakes.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah,
I know exactly what not to do now.
Yeah, it's kind of how we grew up. We just had a bunch of bad examples around us, and we were like, "Oh, okay, cool."
But I'm like, I could be used as a bad example too. But I mean, and that's the thing too with like the fun of like open mics. Like I try to like push myself to like try new things, or even just like, not like be a completely different persona, but just like someone was like, oh, I think you're funnier when you're like angry on stage, and so I'm like, oh, like maybe I'll play with that a little bit. So I think open mics are for play. Like obviously other people there usually I would say like 90% of the work that you get is from other comics. So there is a level of like you want other comics to think you're competent on some level, but at the same time it's like they understand that you're also there to work and try new things. I
love going to places and just talking to everybody. I'm very social and
That's great.
love talking to everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm
I'm
not a comic, so I'm not there to work.
Yeah.
Right? So that's but for me it's like, why aren't you guys just staying here and we're all having a good time? And it's oh, you're right. Like
I would be so pissed if you like started doing stand up and just immediately got it.
Got what?
Just got it. You were just like up there and fucking killing.
Oh,
like your first open mic.
I would never.
You would.
I would never.
I would be so fucking pissed. Like, God damn it.
That's funny. I think about that with my husband too. Like I know like he would never, but I'm also like, I feel like you would just like skyrocket like so quickly. And even just to like the fact of being like a guy, like because sometimes I think like who you book is sometimes just like who you're around, and sometimes like is that just like, so maybe you're picking someone not like, oh, I don't want to pick a woman, but like I'm just around all my friends, you know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit easier for guys.
Yeah, to get booked and stuff.
Yeah, I figured it was. I've also heard that a lot just from like other female comics I listen to the podcast where they're like, this was really fucking hard that I got to this point.
But I think, I mean, this is really also a great scene. Like there are so many guys in this scene that are so supportive of women and really do an amazing job of, you know, not just like only booking women, but like also like giving tags, like I mentioned, and also just like being nice and not a creeper, which sounds like such a basic thing. But I know like if I'm married and I'm older and I've still experienced like weird stuff. So I can only imagine if you're like 22 and you're really hot, like all the like crazy stuff that you're going to get. So
it will, even like with the podcast, is she our first comic?
Female comedian?
First female you're a first female comedian.
Well, I can give you guys a long list of the funny,
that would
amazing
be
girls.
great.
There's like so many killers in this scene. And some of them, and also too, people are in different parts of town. I think that's the most interesting thing about DFW comedy is like some of the Fort Worth people, like I don't know, because I get out to Fort Worth a little bit, but like it's mostly like just shows. I'm not doing like a ton of mics out there.
Yeah.
So there, and there's
a drive.
It's
a different world, honestly.
And some people that just do Fort Worth, like just do Fort Worth, or they just do Arlington. So it's like, unless we're on a show together, like I might not know you, but we're part of this scene together.
Yeah.
So that's another layer of it too.
Yeah. No, and then like it goes back to what you were saying about how like they're my friends. So because we are having a lot of the people that Ricky knows from open mics. And a lot of them aren't like girls, right? Or if there are, you feel weird like talking to them?
Like going back to what you were saying, like some guys could come off like creepy. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I already look like
you want to be in that position.
I don't want to be like, hey, you want to come to my apartment and do my podcast? That's why I feel like it's better for you to reach out to them.
Honestly.
From like the camp Instagram.
Because I was like, because obviously we started seeing the pattern and I was freaking out because I'm like, I need to have my girls on here. Like, how does it look for me to like...
There's so many girls that I know that you would like love to... They're so funny, like in conversation you'd love on the podcast, but also are just like hilarious comics like Lily Lopez. Just like trying to think of like people... Is this like focused like on like Hispanic the community,
Nah,
or
it's
kind of
just
like
everybody.
anybody?
Anyone, and
Okay.
like also
There's,
like artists,
Carrie
like
Smith. There's so many. Sylvia McBateman, I just had her on my show. Danny B. I don't know.
was
you might
that
have
the
seen-
story that you posted with? She's
Yes,
blonde. Yeah, I
she's
saw
blonde.
that,
She's
yeah.
like such a great friend. We actually just saw the Barbie movie, so
Oh, I haven't seen it
you
yet.
haven't seen it?
No,
Okay.
is it good?
It's
Good.
so
I've heard so
good.
many
I
mixed
love it.
reviews.
Okay, yeah, I personally
I
loved
need to
it.
go.
And then like my husband said something, I don't even know. He said something that upset me, and I was like, "You're being a Ken right now," and you don't even know what that means, but it's not a good thing.
Were you a Barbie girl or a Bratz girl? I was a Barbie girl.
I was a Barbie girl.
Oh my God, was I a
but
Barbie
like,
girl?
I
Were
feel
you?
like
I
Yeah.
don't remember you having any Barbies.
Dude, yeah. What? I had a big old dollhouse and all like the kitchen appliances and
I
stuff.
loved playing with Barbies. I think it
loved
was
it.
just, it was so much fun. I liked like the clothes. Like
I love making
I
them
would
have
make my own
sex.
clothes. Oh. But I feel like it's kind of like you're being like a little director, right? Like you're
Yeah.
like creating these storylines.
I
and
was
stuff like that.
100% narrating my own novela.
Yes, yes.
And that's why they were having sex.
So, well, that's why I think my grandma doesn't like me, because she thinks I'm so boring, which I think is true. But I think because she watches so many novellas, it's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to be that. You know what I mean? Like, I think she would love for me to be with, like, I don't know, the
I would
leader
love
of
to
the drug
be
cartel or something. And it's like, I'm
Queen of the
married to a
South.
man that loves me and he's faithful. Boring. Like,
Honestly, yeah.
I remember one novella. There was this crazy story of like this woman. I think it was like the housekeeper was trying to get with the husband, and the husband was just like, "No, I'm faithful to my wife." And then they got stuck in the shower together, and the shower was like clogged. It was like one of those glass showers.
yeah.
So like
love
it got clogged, and the water was like up to their waist. And I just remember watching that. Like, I feel like there's a safety net for this. Like that wouldn't really happen.
But they're so good. Like, they're so good.
It's trash
Yeah.
TV.
It's
just
trash
like,
TV.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, but even like, I mean, a lot of like reality shows. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, but
oh
that
my
also.
God.
My
Oh my
girlfriend
God.
watches it.
Love
I
it
catch
so
it and I'm
love
just
it
like,
so much.
I feel like that is like
They're just
millennial
bartenders, right?
Shakespeare. Yeah, they were bartenders, but now they're like owners of like bars and they
like,
have their own
did
careers.
you start? But were you watching it from the beginning,
I'm
from a long
OG.
ago?
I'm OG because I'm.
I just.
Oh, you just started getting. Oh, okay.
I just binged it when everything was going down.
Oh, it's so good.
It was so
I
good
didn't-
binging.
I didn't know it
so
was old
good.
because my girlfriend started watching it from like the beginning. And I was like, "Why is this new? Are people starting to dress like it's 2006 again?"
Well, also yes, but the
Yeah,
they
it's
did.
old. Yeah, so I've been watching it from the very beginning, and it was like interesting to see because like they were like so poor, so it was funny to see like
Yes,
these
the
people-
apartments that they used to live in was awesome.
Yeah, like they couldn't have like their hair dryer and the microwave on the same time.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like-
yeah. The
And
cheater.
Yeah, the cheater,
what was
Sandoval.
the Sandoval?
Oh my gosh,
hate
I was
him.
so into that when all that drama was happening
God,
earlier
me
this
too.
year, and all over TikTok. Like I was obsessed.
I was so obsessed.
It's so good. I love that drama. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of like my novella. Is there trash reality TV?
And it's also like it's still going. So
Oh my
now they're
gosh.
started filming
Yes.
together. Did you
Yes.
Still
see?
going?
Yes.
Oh
Did they
my
get like the
God.
original cast members or?
I don't
like,
know.
new
Is
people?
Rachel gonna come back on? They're all the
don't-
same.
I don't know what her deal is. I honestly think she needs to go like away, and not just because like I disapprove. Not like
I think she needs to die.
She needs a break. She needs a
Jesus.
break. I think to
Which
like
one's Rachel? The blonde,
no
The
crazy
the
blonde?
brunette that like
the like really like petite one with the like pointy face.
No, that's
Stassi?
Sheena.
Sheena.
Stassi
Oh,
is blonde. Right?
Wait,
So you're saying the
Mhm.
brunette?
the brunette.
The one I'm thinking of is the one with the pointy face, and she has kind of like buck teeth.
Sheena, I think that's.
Oh, Sheena.
Might be
think
Sheena.
so.
Oh, okay, I love Sheena. She's
I love
crazy,
Sheena.
but I love her.
Yeah, I was always
My
rooting for
husband's a
her.
I am rooting for her too. She's a hopeless romantic.
Yeah,
Look, she's annoying.
that thing with
But-
where she was like talking about that guy that he could do no wrong. I
Yeah.
don't remember what season it was. It was after she had divorced that guy. Shane.
Rob? Was it Rob?
Well,
who
it
could,
was
like
Rob,
hang a TV
yeah.
in like 7 minutes. But
That
She's
is
like,
kind
I
of-
clocked
that's kind
it.
of
7
impressive,
minutes.
actually.
So
That
then,
is
but
really
then,
impressive.
like she like
Took
her,
me 30 to do that one.
she like I think timed like her now current husband doing it. Like you can do it faster than Rob, and I was just
Oh
like,
yeah, I remember that.
It's the weirdest metric.
She's so funny. Honestly,
so funny.
I relate to her so much in just like
Because she's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, just like that crazy like headspace that she's always in.
yeah.
But I like Ariana just had like
I
a
love
moment.
Ariana, and she did such a great job of handling that whole situation. Like was just like so articulate.
Epitome of class. Honestly.
Yeah, the class. Yeah, I was just like, oof. Yeah,
I could never. I could never.
Yeah,
I would be
I
out
could
here. I would be in
never.
jail.
What is she? I don't know the story. What happened?
She's the one that got cheated on.
I thought they all got cheated on.
They did.
They did.
Every
But
time,
now
like
they're
I
in their 30s/40s, and
still
it's
getting
like,
cheated on.
But then also, so Tom and Ariana had a relationship for like what 11 years or
9
years.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've been in a committed relationship for 9 years. They had a house together, like they're owners of businesses together, and then Raquel was Ariana's like considered one of her best friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
then-
but also Raquel would say that Ariana's her best friend, but I don't think Ariana ever really like.
I think she said like they were close. One
They
of her
were close,
friends.
yeah.
And she said
This
like
is such girl TV.
I think
that what you just said is like proof that it's girl TV. Ariana said she was her best friend, but Rachel never said that shit.
that no, you're right though. But I think she kind of thought of like Raquel as like a little sister.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're going through a bad time because you and James broke up. Like, we're gonna help. We're gonna be supportive of you. They went to like her pageants. Like, who wants to go to a pageant?
An adult pageant?
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, her part of her storyline this year was that she was crying because she aged out of pageants.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to have happen to you. Okay.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, Tom and Ari, they're all in the friend group, but then Raquel, whose real name is Rachel.
Yeah,
Raquel,
and that's a very important
it's
point
a very
to make.
important point. Even though a lot of them have like different names than their real names, but
Like
it's like
stage names.
But we hate Raquel, so it's Rachel.
So it's Rachel. So then Rachel and Tom start a secret affair, and they have like a 7+ month affair. I think that's part of it too, that they had an affair for so long.
Mhm.
And
It wasn't even an affair at that point. Like he had
It's a
two
relationship.
different relationships going on at the same
yeah,
time.
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it
So-
was insane.
Yeah. And so I think that's why it like really blew up. And I think also too, like people really like Ariana.
Yeah.
And so you're like, don't do that to my girl. Like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
my girl. Don't do that. Rachel.
But also the way that Raquel was
And the way Tom.
like she was just like
She was
dirty.
Yeah, she was dirty. And
like
also Tom, like I can't believe Tom, like just break. I don't understand, like to all the viewers, like just break up with that person.
Yeah, like, what-
why?
These two, right? That's Tom and Ariana?
Yeah.
Okay, Tom is a hot dog. Like, he's such a ding dong, dude.
He is.
I remember watching it in the beginning, and he was like, "Where's my straightener? I don't want to use yours." Like,
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
I was like, "Is
He
that
w-
my hairspray that you're using?"
very self-centered, like
very self-centered, and it was like you should have just broken up with Ariana.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is the money factor of like, because they're still living together. They
They
still haven't
are.
sold that house, and so
why though? Like, or why doesn't she? I would leave.
I would be gone tomorrow. Like if I have
yeah.
to go live with my mom, like so be it. Like
I don't give a damn.
I don't
I would
give
go
a
live with
damn.
Sheena.
I would. Yeah, I would-
Well,
yeah.
they're
Go live
in
with Sheena.
California, right? It's really
Yeah.
hard to get divorced in California.
Is it really?
Yeah, because there's
Well, they're not married though.
Oh, they're not married.
No.
Oh, okay,
No, they
never
just
mind.
have property
They have
together.
property
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
together.
That might be a
So
little.
I think I think she wants to buy.
It's a
her-
common law marriage at that point, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the logistics, but also I know that they pulled out money from the house to finance
Oh yeah,
his newest bar. So I know that there's probably some like
Tom Tom.
complication. Yeah. So there's the newer one.
Hers, the sandwich shop.
because they have Tom Toms with Lisa, and then they opened another one.
Oh, Sandy and Schwartz and Sandy's.
Yeah. So I think it's for
Jesus.
that one.
I didn't realize they were business owners. I thought they were all just
Yeah.
like lifelong
Well,
bartenders.
he is more of like
Is Jax
He is scum.
of the earth.
But-
Is Jax still on the show?
So great question. They have a spin-off show where they're
His
bringing
comeback
Jax.
story is awesome.
Jax and Kristen.
This man is 44 years old. I just remember watching like the beginning of it with Jasenia, and she was like, "Yeah, he's a little older than everybody." I was like, "Everybody was like
When
21,
it first started,
22.
it was 32. He was 32,
Yeah.
I think.
and everybody
But
else was like in their
acting 22.
20s. Yeah,
But acting 22.
yeah,
yeah.
he was a mess.
hella red flag.
Oh my god, but he was my favorite. Even in his like messiest days, he was still my favorite.
He has pretty people privilege. Like he is
100%.
like very hot.
He's
so I
very
feel
handsome.
like
He's had like 3 nose jobs done though.
yeah.
Which one?
Jax
Taylor.
Taylor.
Rick is learning all the tea right now.
I just want to see like because I know the show. I just need to I don't know the names.
I just think that
if I would have known, I would have printed out like photocopies of these people's faces.
you should
I
do
love
that.
It. Oh, the show is so good.
Prop comedy.
Right.
Remember when we did that with the royal family?
Oh yeah. We did do like a whole segment on one of the pods where we were like discussing everything.
Nice.
On the we should have done
I love
for
that
this
drama
one.
too.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know anything about that. And then they had like she had another podcast with her friend, and they did a whole
nice.
episode on it.
We went over like men.
I love
Club,
that.
too.
And then like the following episode, I think it was the following one. They like set up a game where they just had the pictures printed out of all the people, and I had to guess which one it was. The only one I got was the sister. What was her name?
Oh, Kate Middleton's sister, Pippa.
Yeah,
yeah.
Pippa,
That's the
yeah.
only one he got right.
How do you know Pippa? Of everyone, Pippa?
She's pretty.
She's so pretty. Yeah. Well, I think her butt was like a big part of like their wedding.
Yeah.
Like because she had like a very form-fitting dress when they got married. But
That might
I
be
love
it.
that drama too.
Yeah, it's salty. I love drama. When it's not my own, I love it.
Yeah. One of my goals actually for this year was to like not get involved in drama. But if it's like other people's drama, I'm like all about it. But
You're just a bystander.
yeah, as a bystander. Yeah.
Like a watcher,
Yeah.
a viewer of people's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no
drama,
one that I
drama's
know.
a spectator sport.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I'm there at the commentary. I'm ready and willing.
You have to be like at least like 3 people removed from
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
just like,
Because
there's,
then
there's no
it gets
stakes
messy
in me
if you're
knowing.
closer. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had any drama in the comedy scene?
No, and that's what I'm trying to stay away from because I feel like I was like starting to hear like a lot of like little like drama or whatever. And it's like I don't want to know that. Like I just want to know like people's like when it's like true comedy stuff, like just like their success or jokes or whatever. Like I don't want to know about like their person, like who they're dating or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
incestuous.
Yeah.
Here, so
Is it?
I think it can be.
Incestuous in the form of like comics dating comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to know any more about that. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even
live
know
real
that.
life.
Because we've only had his friends and they're not dating anybody. So
Yeah, most of the guys we've had on are like.
I'm always saying like dating a guy comedian is insane.
I could never.
honestly.
I
could
would
never.
1,000% never. I think also too, I just like would not want to be talked about. Like, and even as someone like I talk a lot about my husband and like not always the most like flattering things. And so like I could never like I would die if my husband like
Went up
started
there,
doing comedy.
oh
like if he
my
ever like
God.
started like about my snoring or just like anything, I would be like, oh, how do I murder you?
That's crazy.
But
yeah.
he's like he doesn't care like which is like very nice. But I would not be as kind back.
He's been to your shows, I assume, right?
Yeah, he's been.
Has he been to your shows when you're like going in on him?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I don't really go in on him. I just talk about like stuff that like I have a joke about him being like a wannabe storm chaser, which isn't even
Oh
like
yeah, I know that one.
the like negative or whatever, but just stuff about him. But also too, like I think no one really wants to hear about a happy marriage. I mean, I think that would be fun to like a writing exercise to try to make like a happy marriage a joke and funny, but I feel like it's usually like the more nitpicky stuff. But even in a happy marriage, like there's gonna naturally be conflict.
Yeah, I mean, you're
A
with
lot
that
of comedy
person
is like what the
forever.
things that like people can relate to, and everybody can relate to being annoyed by your spouse or
Yeah.
your significant other.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, fuck that.
Relatable.
If my husband ever went on stage and was talking shit about me,
Oh, it's okay. I do it.
you do? No, you don't. No, you don't.
It's so much material that like it's almost I can say so much shit about you because I've known you 27 years or 28. So
Actually,
it's
go
just
ahead.
it's overload. It overloads my hard drive, so I just can't. I can't pick the dumb stories.
Damn, that sucks.
I was telling you remember when we were in the drive-thru? This is probably when Axel was like barely born, and it was John, you, and then me in the back seat, and Axel was in the car seat, and he had like a sneeze attack.
Who did?
John.
Oh.
And then you just you asked him something while he was sneezing. He was like, achoo, achoo, achoo. And then you were like, hello, are you going to answer me? And he was like, yes, dear. I'm sneezing, goddammit. I got to figure out how to put that on stage.
God. Honestly, yeah, I'd be just saying some crazy shit.
So how many are in your family?
Us too.
Just
Oh,
us
it's
two.
the two of you. Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, we're only 2 years apart.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm jealous. Yeah, I wish I had a.
Yeah, we were talking earlier that you're an only child.
Yeah.
And you said that like the stereotype is true somewhat?
I think typically only children can be selfish, and it's not even, I think, like intentionally trying to be selfish. It's like you're just used to it just being about you. But my mom was one of 6, so she very consciously was like, you're not going to be spoiled. And she also like knew only children, so like she was very like, you're not going to have anything special. You're not special.
Yeah. Did you have like cousins that you were?
Not like that, but just like you're not special just because of like you know, like, so for example, like my dad got me like a Barbie Corvette when I was little, and my mom was furious because I guess she had told him no, and then like she made him like take it back. I know, like I think I had it for like a day, and then
he already gave it to you?
yeah, and like I had it, and she was like, absolutely not. Like she just like did not want me to be overly like
damn,
spoiled.
Mom.
I know.
She already had it.
I know. She was like intense.
But you're Mexican, or are you mixed with anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm Mexican, yeah.
That's crazy that you're an only child, honestly.
It is crazy, but
we at least have 2.
So my dad was kind of sick since he was like 11 years old. So he was actually told that he could never probably have children. So I was kind of like a miracle baby. But yeah, like it is weird because usually I think everyone else, like all my other like aunts and uncles, they have like at least 3 kids.
Yeah.
So like my whole life I grew up with like a ton of cousins. Like on my mom's side I have like there's 19 grandkids.
That's
and then on
insane.
my dad's side there's like 12. So on the weekends like I was always with my cousin. I think that also helped. And it was also just nice because it was like I was surrounded with kids when I like wanted to be, but then I could also go home and just like
and you were chilling.
it was just me. Yeah.
With us, since we're like 2 years apart, and also she's a girl, I'm a boy. Like I felt like growing up, we were only children.
Yeah.
Because we didn't fuck with each other really.
Really?
No, not as kids. No.
Nah, not as kids. She was my bully. So
Yeah.
you know.
Do you remember Lizzie McGuire?
Yeah.
And
was
like
very much
That's So
that.
Raven.
Yeah.
They portrayed a brother and sister relationship where the girl is like always annoyed by her little brother,
Yeah.
and she always has to like bring him down or like be
Yeah.
a bully. That was what I got
And
from
the little
them
brother was
shows.
always annoying.
And the little brother was, which you were. I hate that you have this fucking narrative in your head where you were this sweet little angel and I was just like a villain.
She kicked me out of our room for a whole summer.
You wanted to sleep in the closet, first of all.
Not in the closet.
You were sleeping in the closet.
Oh
one
yeah,
time.
downstairs. I forgot about that. No, but I didn't sleep in there. I slept on the couch.
Whatever.
Because there was a bunch of stuff in the
Because
closet.
okay, he likes to bring up that I kicked him out of
For a whole
our
summer.
room, right, for a whole summer. Meanwhile, he was down there watching the Playboy, or what was it?
It wasn't Playboy. It was the Girls
Girls
Gone
Gone
Wild
Wild.
infomercial.
Same thing.
No, it was censored. It was just the infomercial.
So I mean,
Wait,
you're
you
welcome.
shared a room?
When we were very young, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wild. Was that like
Bad.
weird?
It was
No.
up until I was like 10 maybe or 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or was it nice? Because I think some kids like
We
to
really
have
we really
someone
only
else.
slept in there if I think about it.
I was there. I was in there. It was my room. He wasn't really in there most of the time.
Yeah, because all the furniture was hers. Like I'm not even kidding. Like
Well, you were in a Barbie
this
dream
is
house.
This is not
Come on.
this is not your fault. This is
I'm
mom
like-
and dad's.
Oh, it's everybody else's fault but yours.
The furniture, yes, because I couldn't buy furniture, you dumb bitch. I didn't have credit. I was 9.
Okay, yeah, it was all my furniture.
No, it's just because like I just had the bed, and then like we just put all of our clothes in like the furniture that was white and had flowers on it. And then whenever we got our own rooms, I got one of those cabinets, and then she still had all her stuff, but I also didn't get anything else. I just had
Yeah.
my bed.
Yeah, they just stopped caring.
Yeah, it just didn't.
going?
It never crossed their mind to get me like a bedroom set.
Yeah.
Which at the time I was just like, oh, yeah, this is normal. I just have a bed on the floor. It's cool.
I was a
That's funny.
princess.
So I heard this theory that a lot of times like people will marry or date someone that's similar like rank in like the order, like the child order or whatever. So like my husband has a sister, but like she's like my mom's age. So she's from like my father-in-law's first marriage, and then he had my husband when he was like 40. So they never grew up in the same household. So he was kind of like an
Whoa,
only child and I'm an
yeah.
only child. So like is your husband also the oldest?
No,
the-
No,
he's the
he's the
youngest of
youngest.
5.
Oh
But I'm the
wow.
youngest, so
But I'm the oldest.
But you're the
So
oldest. But what about your girlfriend?
she's the middle of 5.
She's the middle. Oh, okay.
A 5.
Wait, are you saying they
like usually like they were saying like
they line up with each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
I was
you
wondering
were
if
I thought
that,
you were
like-
saying like
they follow the same order.
no, I thought you were saying that like I would find somebody that was the oldest girl in her family.
No,
like,
they were saying
similar
like
to
you're
my
supposed to
sibling.
match up.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if that was like
Well, technically, I'm the middle because our dad has another kid,
interesting.
but we didn't grow
up with him.
Yeah, he's like 17 years younger than me.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I get mad at my husband all the time too because he's the youngest.
It's like a baby.
So he's
Yeah.
babied.
yeah.
And I just like,
It's not our fault. It's not our fault.
it just
You're
reminds
both.
me of
You're
him.
the
I'm
oldest
just
and
like,
the baby.
Yeah, it's actually a lot to be an only child because you have to be like everything to your parents, even if they don't put that
Yeah.
pressure on you. I feel like that you put that
it's
on
still
yourself.
there. Yeah.
I think
would
especially
get
as a
that.
girl, maybe like too, you put like extra pressure on yourself anyway.
Were you your dad's princess?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, I was definitely.
But
a
mommy's
daddy's girl.
too, because it's not like she had a
Well,
son.
she took my Barbie Corvette, so I don't know about that.
Is that not a joke already? Cause
No,
it needs
it's
to
not.
be-
But like,
You were
I
a
should
princess,
be.
but you were like Meghan Markle.
Yeah, pretty much.
She did have what's it called? Struggle. You had struggle in your life.
Yeah, well, my mom
Had to
crafted the
force it.
struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, she's way too spoiled.
Yeah.
Which is good because like only children that like it's just their parents' priority, they do come out like a little not so much selfish, but just like, oh, I'm not used to being around like other people, you know?
Yeah.
Or like having to
Like
consider other
acclimating,
people's
Yeah.
like feelings.
And my parents, like, when I was like 2, they put me in like preschool because they wanted me to be around other kids. Like, they were really adamant. But there's just certain things, like, I think it's even hard for me, like, sometimes in like group dynamics or like team dynamics because I just like would just prefer to do it alone. And maybe that's too, like, why improv was like so different because you're working with other people versus like stand up because it's like, oh, it's just me. So, like, that makes more sense for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just try your best not to be a monster.
You want to check the camera real quick just in case? Because last time.
Did you delete the video?
Yeah, I did. I deleted everything. Last time we got cut off at the 1:30 mark and we went for like 2 hours. Now I'm paranoid. Yeah, I don't know. With us, I'm so thankful that it was just us growing up together.
Really? I wish I had a brother.
See, I can't say anything nice.
You were still there, but like I also wish I had a little brother to kick around.
to like get out the anger. Of, like,
get out all the
me.
frustration.
No, I
Bagel him from a window, just like, hey, remember this is Adriana's fault,
damn, that would suck.
right?
That would suck.
Have him hate you. That'd be so cool.
You would make him hate me?
I would make him hate you because I'd constantly remind him, like, I'm only doing this because of her.
But then do you think it would have changed you though?
Not well.
Because you wouldn't be the baby, wouldn't be like
I'd be the middle, which would make me
You're
so
forgotten about.
insufferable.
You would have a drug problem.
Yeah, a bigger drug problem.
You would be
I
like
think I'd be
sniffing
insufferable.
cocaine.
Yeah, I
out
probably
of
would have
somebody's
like.
ass.
I probably would have left the country.
Probably. They would have made you leave the country.
I feel like though, like middle children are typically like more successful because they're trying to get like their parents' attention.
Maybe.
Like I feel like they're kind of like annoying. Like my mom's a middle child and she's like always fighting for like my grandma's attention. My grandma could care less. Like my grandma.
I want to meet your grandma.
My grandma literally thinks that my mom's like a secretary. My mom's like this badass like CPA. She has her MBA. Like she's very successful, and my grandma like has no clue and does not care. Like,
Is that maybe just like an older thing where she's like, oh, only women can only be secretaries?
well, I don't know that, but even just like her attention, like my aunt, like her youngest daughter was just like a train wreck, but she gave so much attention to her, and I think because she was the baby.
Yeah.
But I think like middle children just get forgotten about. I don't know.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is kind of like, she's in the middle of fives. So I feel like she's more of like the neutral one.
Oh, okay.
Where it's
Yeah,
like,
I can see that.
like her parents have never really had any problems with her.
Yeah.
As opposed to like her other brothers and sisters.
But that might be her overcompensating too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much of like, she's trying to make sure that she's cool, which I
Yeah.
think we share because like she was kind of not necessarily a problem child, but
Ricky, shut up.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
You called me worse. It's just because she's a girl and she's here and you don't want to say it.
I'm sorry. Well, I just called you a bitch. This is also weird. Like, she doesn't like it when I try to sugarcoat things.
No, I don't. I am just very blunt.
She would rather I call her a stupid bitch
than like him just be like, she wasn't a problem child.
Well, I've done it a
but
lot.
Also, you said it before on the podcast, so don't be fake bitch right now.
Yeah, but I did it a lot on this one, so I'm trying to cut back.
I'm just really impressed that you guys have a podcast together. I feel like that's so like rare and cool that like you would be siblings and like have this thing as like adults, you know, have a creative pursuit together.
We started getting really close in like middle school, high school.
Yeah, when I was like 14, she was 16.
Yeah, and then we realized that we're both very like fun. I don't want to say funny together, but we have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
And I guess we just vibe. We grew up together. We're the same person pretty much. Like we're very different. We're very different, but we find the same things funny. And when we talk, seems
like you complement each other well. Like your personalities like complement each other.
Yeah. I think because we're so opposite, I'm more like to myself and quiet, and you're just kind of like very extrovert, you know,
very out there.
Yeah. But what I was saying about Jasenia is like, I think we're to what you were saying of like how people kind of find like the same thing in the relationship. You know, I think we found that in like her older brother and sister were kind of like a little, you know, out there. So she was just like, oh, okay, I got to make sure that I'm either sneaky enough to not get caught like they always do.
Which he was.
Which I was. Or I just have to make sure that my parents like don't have any issues with me because they're so busy dealing with the other ones.
Yeah. And that was him. Yeah. That I feel like that is why you're a little bit more laid back too.
Yeah. Because I'm just like.
You're chill.
Yeah. Because like the whole thing.
When's the ball's going to drop on this end? Where he has to be like, watchful.
Yeah. And the whole thing was just, you just had to text mom. Like, that's all I would ever do.
I just hated, like, having to tell people where I was.
Yeah.
Like, 16 over here. Like,
no, you don't even have to do that. I would tell mom I was about to go to sleep at my friend's house, and I'd be fucking in Duncanville, like, partying.
Yeah, but
all you have to do is lie.
I'm not a good liar, so I would get caught. You know? So
you're a good liar?
It wasn't even being a good liar. It was just like, hey, it's midnight. Let me tell mom that I'm about to go to sleep. And then there would be times like I didn't even have a phone, so I'd just be like, "Hey, can I borrow your phone so I can call my mom?" Call and then be like, "Okay,
that
cool."
was enough for
Fuck
her.
your rage. Like as soon as I hang up.
Were you like? How were you in high school? Did you party a lot? Or?
No, I was such a goody two shoe. Like I think there was like only one night where I like lied to my mom about where. Like
only one night.
Yeah. I mean, I was where I said I was going to be, but I was out the whole night. And then, but yeah. And I think I wasn't even the one to egg someone's house, but I was in the car while it happened. And I was like, we're getting arrested. Like I was such a goody two shoes. And like my mom really scared me because she was like, if you go to jail, I'm not going to come get you. Like you're just going to rot there forever. And I think that was just like always in the back of my, like I was also so gullible. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I have to be good.
But that definitely has to be a thing of only child because you are the only concern. You're the only thing that they're like, have to watch so they don't have to like you were out there doing your thing so I was able to kind of just sneak around and be like, oh, she's paying attention over there, let me
you're the decoy of
and maybe you didn't have an older sibling to learn from,
right? No one was there to teach me like you can get out. This is how you like get out of the window or whatever, sneak out. But even like into like adulthood, like I was like, oh, I can't like smoke like marijuana, that's illegal. Like I just like such a rule follower.
Oh, okay.
Where like I don't know.
We're complete opposites.
I feel like my mom was too strict, and like I didn't have anyone to be like, don't listen to mom. Like you can do whatever you want. Yeah, you're your own person.
Yeah. But I mean, it's gotten you.
I'm alive, but so are you. So I mean, like, did it?
She's like thinking back of all this stuff she could have been doing.
I could have lived a life and said I was at home.
Honestly, I brag a lot about like when I was in middle school, I was like drinking and like jacking cars or whatever in middle school. But I could have died. Like there were so many times where I was out here hoeing that I could have died.
Well, I mean,
you're using that term incorrectly.
What?
Hoeing?
No, I was also out here hoeing.
I feel like you use it as a catch-all for like just doing hood rat shit with your friends.
Well, I mean, I was acting like a hoe.
Yeah.
Out in the streets.
I feel like everyone has like their hoe phase or whatever. And so like I did have more fun like in college after college, but it was like still like nothing illegal for the most part. Like everything was pretty much still like you can still like have fun.
Well, of course.
But
did you go to college in California?
Yeah, I went to San Diego State.
Ooh.
It was a party school, but I didn't like
That's weird then.
I was still such a nerd though, like about it. Cause like I joined like a co-ed business fraternity, which is like such a nerdy thing. But I would like, that was also just like mostly partying. Like it was like, we'll do a resume, but then we're like playing beer pong after. Like it was still like a lot of fun. So, and that's where I met like all my close adult friends. Like that's all from there. So that was,
we're still friends with like a lot of our elementary school friends.
Yeah.
But also we haven't left like the state.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends from childhood that, especially like from high school that we're still in contact, but we all live kind of like all over the place. Like some live like, one lives in like Canada, another lives in like San Francisco, and one still lives in California. So we're all just kind of like spread out all over the place.
Is your family here?
No, my family's in California. So.
Yeah. Everyone?
So y'all just came out here with like nobody?
Well, I'm an only child. My dad died when I was 14. So it's my mom.
R.I.P.
My mom still is in California.
And like her family over there.
And her family, yeah.
So you don't have anyone here?
No one here. That's what I tell I'm like, we have no one here. What are we doing?
So then, of course, you'd want to move back to California then, right?
Yeah, have everybody.
Or I guess because
like
you're
the
already
weather.
used to like being alone that you would want to move to New York.
Oh, for that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of like one of those things where like if I was like in my 20s and I was single, I think that would be like more of like a feasible reality. But I think I don't know if I could convince my husband to go live in like.
Have you talked about it? Would he
he's
no?
like absolutely not. Well, so funny enough, so when we didn't know each other right before, like maybe like 3 months before we met each other, we both lived in New York at the same time. So like I lived in New York for like 9 months. I think he lived there for a year. And it was like the same period of time. So we were both like running around New York.
Oh, wow.
But we just didn't know each other. And he was there with like an ex-girlfriend at the time. But it's just like so weird to think. But yeah, it's just so weird to think like we were there at the same time. So anyway, he knows what it's like to live in New York and how hard it can be. And like I try to tell him like, oh, but like it's way easier because now like I don't know, there's like Uber Eats, like just some like simple things like Amazon Prime, like because like it used to be such a hassle to like go up or like to go to like Target or something. It was just like so far and all that stuff. But I think like now like things are much easier than when we lived there. But it's still like the grind of like taking the subway and like walking and it's so hot in the summer. So when you don't really want to be like walking around or taking the subway, it's so hot. And he's also like, I would not want to raise children in New York. And I'm like, why not? Like, I think I'm like more open-minded to that. I think a lot of people, because even like my cousin was like, the other day she was like, yeah, I would never, like, I don't want to raise my kids in an apartment. I'm like, why not? Like, I think I'm just like more open-minded
We
to
were
like
apartment kids.
Yeah, and I think like that's like a normal experience and like a fine experience.
For New York, it's normal. Like, there's nothing
like
but apartments there, right?
It's like, yeah, where are you gonna? But I think he's like, how are you gonna like deal with a stroller or even like our small dog? He's like, our dog's not gonna like it. I'm like, she doesn't care. Like,
as long as she's with you guys,
fine. Yeah, she'll be fine. So
I think anyone can acclimate to like anywhere, right? Like,
right.
People adapt.
Humans are adaptable. And I think also too, so my husband had like a very like, his parents divorced when he was young and he moved a lot with his mom. So I think for him, like stability is like the biggest thing. Whereas like
I get that.
I grew up so sheltered and like, so like,
you're ready to explore.
I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's do it. Like, I don't like, I feel like I'm dying in the suburbs. So I feel like, kind of like we were talking about earlier, like marriage can be hard if you like want kind of different things. But I think it's about like figuring out like, where you can compromise and, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the compromise for that would be to move to New Jersey because it's close enough to the city, but it's still the suburbs.
Yeah,
you would just have to
well,
commute
he
to do
still
stand-up.
doesn't even like that, and he has a close friend that lives in Hoboken, which is in New Jersey, like right outside. But even that, he's like, it's so expensive and da da da.
Is New Jersey expensive?
Yeah,
just because it's close to New York, so a lot of people that work in the city commute in and out.
Oh, fuck that.
I know. So like I think you're right. I think that would be more feasible. Plus, like I think if I really pushed him on it, I think he would cave. Don't listen to stop listening. No, but like not even like just cave, but I think if I was like not make like a PowerPoint, but just kind of be like, hey, this is like my dream, man. You know what I mean? If I had a plan, I feel like he kind of going back to like the stability thing, I think if he felt like, because even like the move out here, I was like, okay, my company's paying all this money to move all our stuff, so we don't have to worry about that. And then like, even if you couldn't find a job, like we could live off my salary. So I think like as long as he feels like
there's like
we're gonna be okay, there's like a plan. So I feel like if I had a plan of like, okay, I got a job out there, or I did something, something like that, he would be like, okay, like.
But feel a little bit better about it.
I'll feel better.
Maybe wear him down a little.
I think if it was like tomorrow, I'm like, okay, I'm moving in 2 weeks, and like there was like we didn't know where we're gonna live, or like there was no job set up, kind of a thing. Then he would be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I think he's more of like, as long as there's like a plan.
Yeah. When you were moving to Texas, was that like, were you excited, or did you not want to move to Texas?
I think I just I was up to try something different. Like I didn't think that I was gonna like it. Plus, like. The only time I had been to Texas, or I guess I had been twice previously. The first time I came, I was in junior high, and I came for like a church, like camp or something like that. And it was in Houston. It was in the summer, and it was miserable.
Oof.
And I think my mom had sent me because my dad had just maybe died like the summer before, and she was just like, just go. And that was like miserable, and I hated it. And then I was like, I'm never going to come back to Texas. And the second time I was in drumline and band. And so we had a competition.
You were in drumline?
Yeah, we had a competition in San Antonio. And I remember like, well, California's always on fire, but like at that time we had just had a big fire. And when I went, because I was one of the captains, and so when we went to like the award ceremony, these girls, they were like, "Are y'all still on fire?" Like they were just like so sweet. Like they mentioned it in a nice way. Like, "Are you guys okay?" Like, not like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was a diss. Maybe it was like a bless your heart. It probably was. I thought it was nice.
Dissing.
Yeah,
because I would have been like, yes, bitch. We're always on fire.
But I just remember thinking like San Antonio was like really cool. But yeah, I was just like up, and like I said, I thought it was going to be a year, and it's been 10 years, so I wasn't expecting.
Did they give you the option though to leave after the first year, and you were
no,
like,
it was just in my head. Like, cause when they did the move, like, because they pay for like all of your expenses, it's like quite expensive. So like you have to stay with the company for like at least like. Well, it says like at least 9 months, or else you have to like pay the money back. And they might not even hold it to you. But like I said, I'm such a rule follower. I was like, we got to stay for like 9 months. So in my head, it was like a year. Like we have to stay for a year. So yeah, that was just in my head of like, we can leave after that.
That's crazy.
And we almost did, because my husband got like laid off maybe like a year after we had moved here, and they gave him a big severance package, and we're like, oh, maybe we can just like use the severance package money and like move back. But I'm really glad we didn't, because of that, for career wise for both of us, it ended up being really good. And then I think being in Texas made me like a little depressed too, which is eventually what led me to comedy. So I think I would have never tried stand up or any sort of comedy thing if I had been in California, because I was so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to do stand up when you're happy. You got to be real down to do this.
Yeah. And so I think, because I was like not happy, it led me to comedy. And like, I can't imagine like not having tried it.
Yeah. It's so, you still have a 9-to-5 job?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you think like as soon as you get something kicked off with comedy that like puts you in shows, you'd have to quit?
It would have to be really kicked off. Like it would have to be like Ralph, not even Ralph, because that's a like, but it would have to be like where I was making more money than I am. Shows. And even like, I would say like a lot more than I am now. Cause like, if you have like a good job, like, you should think also to like health insurance and stuff like that. That's expensive. Like even if you go on like your spouse's plan, like it's like way more expensive to have your spouse. So, I think like my mom's ear, like voice would be chirping in my ear. I'd be like, okay, you okay? Finding out like what's going on. How much do you have saved? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
What about when you like start getting booked for shows that are like every weekend and you have to like travel the States? Like how was that with like your marriage?
So I don't go outside that often. Sometimes I'll go. Like last summer, I did a show in Arkansas with Barry Whitewater, and he was headlining, and he brought me on the road with him. And my husband came to to Arkansas with us, which was nice because he drove us, which was like, oh, I hate driving, so he'll go to most like out of town stuff, mostly because like he knows I hate to drive.
What if they're like once they start getting consistent?
Oh, consistent? I don't know. So my husband, he works from home mostly. I think he goes in like once like a quarter, which is like nothing.
Yeah.
So he can
like
he has
a job that he can take his laptop.
Yeah.
And do
So
the work
and like I have a job. Like I go into the office, but I have like a little bit more flexibility where like if I needed to do a weekend somewhere, I could still work from there if I had to, like Thursday and Friday.
That's
and
perfect.
The weekend. Yeah.
Both of you can still work and he can still go with you. That's awesome.
I need to get a remote job.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm gonna be gone for like the weekend.
The only thing though is like our dog, which like I know you were talking about earlier, like finding a place for your dog. Like sometimes like that is like a tricky component because like we have taken her sometimes, but then other times it's like, oh, that doesn't make sense to bring her because she's also crazy. But
and then you don't have family here that'll take her.
Right.
Maybe like friends though.
Yeah, but she's like, honestly, I love her, but she's a little dog. You know, they're like super annoying and she doesn't get along with like other dogs. Like, I don't think she thinks she's a dog. Like, even like when we take her, when we take her like to get boarded, they're like, oh, Sophie was working the front desk. Like, I think she just like charms them. And then she's like not with the dog. She's like at the front desk, like working with them. I don't know what she does.
She went into
She's
work.
She's a hustler. Yeah. I'm like, should I be paying you or should you be paying me?
She was a real estate agent in the past life.
So
she's like, these 4 paws are not gonna stop me, baby girl. That's so cute.
What kind of dog is she?
She's a Shih Tzu Terrier mix.
Oh, okay.
So when my husband and I first started dating, he was like, I don't like little dogs, like they're too yippy. And now he's like obsessed. Like he's been obsessed with her. But she's so yippy. But I love her because like she's mine. I feel like so I recently saw one of my cousins and like I don't know if it's just our family, but like we like our own dogs, but we hate other people's dogs. Like how people were like kids kind of. Like I like my kids, but not anyone else's. Like I have been like a Karen with other dogs. Like there's like this dog across the street. And like I was on like a work call and I could hear him barking. And it was like the summertime. So like they have like high school kids. So they were out for the summer. They're in the pool. And I couldn't hear because my office is like right facing them. And so after my call, I got outside and I was like, you and your dog need to be quiet. I am working right now. And then like everyone went inside and then I was like, I'm ruining everyone's summer. What am I doing? And then I was telling my cousin.
Somebody's story.
I know. Oh my God.
I was telling my cousin and his wife this, and then his wife was like, oh my God, you and your cousin are twins. Because my cousin John does the same thing. Like he yells at all the neighbor dogs. And I was like, is this a Gonzalez gene? Like we just hate other people's I don't know. It's not like we hate it. It's just like, come on, get your dog in order. Like get your
kids, man.
Yeah, get your kids in order.
Yeah, if they would have recorded you, that would have gone viral. Then honestly, it's like, she's a comedian.
And then my husband was like, what are you doing? Like, you're fine. Or just like go somewhere else and take your call. Like, I was being dramatic, but at the same time, like, if I can hear your dog through the walls, like, I think there's a problem. Like,
yeah, we kind of had a problem with that because our big dog, she has like a separation anxiety.
Aww.
Yeah, and then we used to leave her here like during the day when we were at work, but she would start barking, and then our neighbors kind of complained about it. So now we drop her off at her sister's place.
I'm sorry. I see neighbors like that. I'm that neighbor. Gosh, see, I hate that for me.
I will say though, if we had a house and it was the neighbor across the street, I'd be like, dude, come on.
There's no way.
There's no way.
The freaking that's loud.
It's our neighbor that like we share a wall with them. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. She's fucking loud. Like it's right here, you know?
But that dog, it's also a creepy dog. Like I'm so mean to this dog. Because like
dog's creepy.
He can like,
sugar.
I feel like he looks at me like that. So like from his house,
your dog is sexually harassing me.
His house is like a little bit elevated from ours. So like he'll jump. He's like a pretty big dog. So like he'll jump up on I'm assuming it's like their patio furniture. He'll jump up and then just stare. So like where I have the garage open, like I see his freaking scary, creepy face. And so like me and my husband, we don't know his name. We just call him Creepy Dog. I'm like, Creepy Dog's out there again. And he'll just like stare you down. But he's also probably mad that I like yelled and ruined everyone's summer. But like he has to understand work and corporate culture.
Yeah, because your dog does. I mean, she would never be that rude.
Does she like start yapping while you're at work?
So we have strict policies with her. Like if I have a call that I know, like I always put her like on our bed, which is like on the opposite side of the house. So she's like up on the bed. And my husband's usually always home. But if it's just like me and her, it's just like she's on that bed almost all day because like I can't trust her and she is very yippy on the phone. And I think most people, because of COVID, like they're very like understanding of dogs. But it's me, like I'm like, I don't want you to be like crazy.
Yeah. Oh.
Across the street really is crazy. Like honestly. Like that's a loud ass dog.
Yeah, because he's big, so he's like woof woof.
Yeah.
Right? Oh,
I mean, I do feel bad about it. And like usually when I tell people, they're just like, why do you hate dogs? I'm like, I don't hate dogs. I just like, I don't know. It's isolated. Yeah.
I don't hate mine.
Yeah, I love mine, even though I'm strict with her. But.
I think I like all dogs because her younger brother has 4 huskies. And whenever we go over there, they like, the only reason I don't like them is because they really let go of a lot of fur. So if I'm wearing like black jeans, by the time I'm out, like they're white just because there's so much fur on them.
Yeah.
I will say that
I do like playing with them.
Yeah, I'm always impressed with bigger dogs because they tend to be more well-behaved. And so I'm always impressed. Like my husband dog sat for, so this is going to sound absurd, but like my mom has an older dog. So she went on vacation. And so my husband was like, oh, I'll go stay with you, like stay at your house and like dog sit for you because he had, I forget what it's called, but it was almost like, it looked like he was having seizures. Anyway, he couldn't be boarded. Yeah, he's like fine now, but at the time, like that incident had just happened, so he couldn't be boarded. So my husband went to California, and then the girl my mom was going to Portugal with, like something fell through with her dog sitter. So then my husband also had to dog sit for that dog. So there was like, and then he took our dog. So there was like 3 dogs he was sitting for. But that dog, my mom's friend, he was like so well behaved. And I was just like, oh, this is so nice. Because my dog's not.
My dog, I have big dogs. Well, not,
Luna?
they're like medium. But one of them is very well behaved than Luna. She's 2 though.
Yeah,
She's a puppy.
She's a puppy still.
Puppy, yeah.
But I think they're well behaved. Like
they're usually more
if
well behaved.
I say anything to either one of them, they're going and doing whatever I tell
like
them
my
to.
dog failed puppy school the first time. Like she had to take it twice. Like because we took her to PetSmart because she bit my husband when we first got her, and
she was a puppy.
When she was a puppy, and my husband's like, "You need to take your dog to training," and I was like, "I thought she was our dog," but
you need to take your dog. She needs her degree.
Yeah. And then the first time, like I think 2 classes in, the like teacher was like, "I don't think she's gonna pass," and I was like, "We're 2 weeks in." So then
started smoking cigarettes. Just like, I don't know what it is with this dog, man.
So then,
she's acting like an assistant manager. Really
so then, like we go through all the classes, and then he's like, "I'm not even gonna have you guys come to the final because, like, I know she won't pass," which is also very mean and judgy. So then, like, we take the class again. We don't have to pay again, but we have to go through the classes. And then still, like, her second time through it, she was still the worst dog. And, like, they, at the end of the class, like, they make everyone, it's kind of like an obstacle course kind of thing. Like, they have to, like, sit here, sit there, whatever. And, everyone, when it was Sophie's turn, everyone was so stressed. Like all the parents were just like on pin. Like everyone was just like, "Oh, come on, Sophie!" Like we're all so stressed because she was so bad. But then she ended up passing.
Oh my god, they gave her like a C.
It was like
Your dog was a super senior. That's so funny.
She was super senior, and yeah. That was honestly like the hardest work because like we had been practicing with her at home, but then when we'd get to class, she would be like so crazy. And then I had the brilliant idea. I was like, okay, we need to start training her at PetSmart or whatever because she's She's okay at home, but she has like performance anxiety when she's at the store. So then when we started training her, then I think that's when she was like finally getting it of like, oh, I have to be good around others and not just at my house.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I never thought to take my dog to training.
Well, my mean husband. It's like, take her dog. But I mean, but she's still bad. Like, I can't imagine if we didn't take her. Like, I feel like she'd be even worse.
What is bad though? She just like, she jumps on people or she's tiny. She's like,
I know, but she's aggressive. And I always like, she has like, I know it sounds silly. Like she's 8.5 pounds, but like she can really get me. Like, I don't know how she does. Like she gets like the pressure points and it's just like, hurts. And
she pins you down.
She does. She's aggressive. And then like at night, especially like, cause she likes smells. So like if I put like, cause I put on like, you know, all the creams and all the serums and like, she'll come and like, she'll want to smell it, but she doesn't come like up. She's like, ah, and I was like, oh my God, she's aggressive. I admire that about her, but
she's a real go-getter.
She's a go-getter. She's aggressive. Yeah, she's actually who I would want to be, but it's intense to deal with.
Love her. I can't wait to meet her.
I know. I'm gonna have her pounce, you guys. Oh, and she also, she hates children, and when we still lived in California, one of my husband's coworkers came over. He had like a 3-year-old, and in our apartment, like it was like a tiny little kitchen thing, and the kid like cornered our dog and she headbutted him, which is better than biting. She did. She headbutted him. And I was like, part of me was like, it's better than biting.
It is,
but also there could have been a concussion. I don't know. Headbutting, I don't know. So then she was
She's
a mess.
a pro wrestler. That's so funny.
So but now that kid, so my husband, like last week was in California and he saw that guy and that kid's like 13 now because it's been like 10 years. And he asked about Sophie. He was like, how is she doing? I was like, does your kid have any
now?
Like, yeah. Does your kid have any mental issues? I don't even know. But yeah, she's aggressive. And but I think
so she's older. She's an older
she's
dog
old,
now.
Yeah. But she looks like a puppy. Like she still looks like a puppy. But
one of our friends, she does another podcast. She just lost her doggy. But I think he was like 15. Mel from Modern Day.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I think he was like 15.
I thought you were saying the dog's name was Mel. I was like, I do not know Mel.
No. Yeah, it was sad. Ugh, I hate. I would love to just adopt older dogs though, just to like see them on their way out.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, but I love to cry. So maybe it's something about
really?
that. I love to cry.
That's interesting. I had an ex-boyfriend in high school tell me like, oh, you're so beautiful like when you cry. And then I was like, are you doing it on purpose? Like making me cry? But I've never liked to cry. Do you like to cry?
No.
Is it?
I hold it in a lot.
It's like a cathartic process.
Yeah.
You're like getting out feelings or whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes
by yourself, it's great because like
I don't
especially
care.
if you hold it in a lot.
I don't care where I'm at. If I go to the movies, when I'm at the movies, I will cry, but it's like ridiculous. Or I'm just like, oh my god, like sobbing.
Sometimes certain movies, I'll cry.
Or like even if I see somebody else tearing up or crying, I'm already crying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a release. I could imagine
We're
like
very emotional people, the Niñas.
Honestly, yeah. I am though. I love it. I don't care.
I don't like it because I was like a big crybaby when I was a kid, and everybody.
Oh really?
Yeah. So like growing up, and then also growing up with like Mexicans, they're just like, stop fucking crying. You don't cry.
That's true. They're
like,
strict. Yeah.
Yeah. Like whenever me and my girlfriend watch a movie, like I'll cry in the movie, but I'll keep it in. And then she's like, I've never seen you cry in the movie. I cry in every movie.
That's so funny. Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. He's a product of toxic masculinity, like being like pushed
beating
on
down
him.
on you.
Yeah.
Because like he was a big old crybaby when we were little, but you stopped, and then you got very cynical.
Yeah. I got problems.
I mean, I think it's bad for everyone though, you know, because like we all are so connected. Like I've only seen my husband cry, I think when his dad died. Like I think that's the only time I've ever seen him cry. and
I haven't seen
Guys
John
don't cry.
cry that much either.
I don't think I've ever seen. No, I've seen John cry. But we cried
Once or
together.
twice.
Yeah, we cried together though.
See, that's weird.
See, this is why men die when they're 60 because they're just keeping everything in. Toxic femininity.
Well, it is.
No, I think it was just a thing of like our dad also didn't like let us cry. He was kind
Yeah.
of just like, your emotions are annoying me,
Yeah.
so stop it.
But I've always rebelled against everyone, so I
Yeah.
would cry because I hated that he didn't want to see us cry.
No.
So I would cry.
I would only cry like when I was younger as like a manipulation tactic.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Like if my boy cousins were like being mean to me, like I would just like cry out of nowhere and get them in trouble.
Nice.
Even and like this is I'm not proud of this, but like I have cried out of like tickets and like
Oh no,
I
no,
think,
you
like,
don't.
I
Have to
just
be, you gotta
showed
be proud
titties,
of that.
honestly.
but
No, you don't.
But I think like part of it is like I don't want to get in trouble, so I am like I'm not sad of like my speeding. I'm just sad I got caught, and so like I've probably cried my way like out of that, like not even intentionally, but like it just like happened. I cried and I got out of it. But I don't like that, but it's worked.
I could never cry just because it's like the man. So I could never cry
You're
in
more
front of
rebellious
them.
than you are.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm more
interesting.
rebellious, but I'll show some titties. Like I'll just be,
I
I gotta try that.
yeah.
I speed quite a bit.
Like when I was younger, my grandma would be like, "You need to show like you need to
Titties?
be like kind of like." Not like the full thing, but like you should wear like lower cut shirts, and I'm like, God, like no, like what?
it's pretty privilege.
She wanted me to have pretty. But
It's the novelas.
yeah, it's the novellas. I can never win her approval or love, which is fine. But I was just, so my husband went on an interview like maybe 2 years ago, and he said like one of like the last questions they asked him was like, "Have you ever cried at work?" And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, can they even ask you that? Like, what did you say? And he's like, I laughed. He's like, absolutely not. Like, I never cried. I was like, I like cried last week at work. Like, I actually do it for work. I feel like I cry. It's not even like, I feel like I cry at work because I'm so like angry. Like if I'm like angry and frustrated,
Yeah.
then I'll like go cry in the bathroom. Like it's been a minute, but I feel like I've cried more like at work being frustrated than I have like watching a movie or something like that.
Yeah, see, if I get frustrated, I'll cry.
Yeah.
But that's not. I don't like crying like that.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a different.
That's
yeah.
not cathartic. That's
It's
more
not-
of like,
yeah.
fuck, now I'm showing
like
my
the physical reaction.
vulnerability.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's a
part.
big thing of it, of at least being the guy that cries. It's like you don't want to be seen as vulnerable. 'Cause
Yeah.
then everybody fucks with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Or you make more friends.
No.
I made a lot of friends crying.
I always had this thing of like, because I would even cry in school. Like I was a crybaby at school. So it was like a thing of like, I have to hold this in or else nobody's going to want to be my friend. Like nobody's going to want to play with me because I'm going to cry. Or they think that I'm going to cry. You know?
And you have a tell. It's
Yeah.
a very no.
I just have an ugly cry.
He just goes like, and all of a sudden he goes like deer in the headlights.
Aw.
Yeah, I just like zone in.
And then he
because
does-
I'm focusing so much,
Yeah.
I'm not crying.
And then he gulps a lot. And you can see his Adam's apple moving up and down.
I got to get this thing shaved down.
I think that's good though, like especially for stand up. Like I feel like stand ups are usually more sensitive.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's hard because like to be so sensitive, it's hard to do stand up where it's so like you're being criticized constant, like just or you know trying to get approval on some level. But then like I feel like you need to be sensitive because you need to be aware of like the world and
Yeah.
so it's like this balance.
I think like the comedians that I've met and like what we know of comedians is like they are all so sensitive because all of the things that they come up with is them experiencing like the world on a different playing field. You know what I mean? Like it's not how other people that are not comedians or that can't like put stories together that way will never be able to live in the world, the emotional world that comedians do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have to be like in some way emotional or sensitive
Yeah.
to be able to put all that
Yeah.
together.
That is what stand up is. It's like, this is the way that I see the world. Let me express it to you. in a funny way. And the reaction that I want to get is that you think it's funny that I see it this way. But then when you don't, it's like, oh, I have a problem because I see the world this way.
Yeah.
Like there's something wrong with me.
And when I was growing up, like my mom was always saying like, oh, you're sensitive, like you're too sensitive. And I think that was just like her way of trying to like protect me for like or prepare me for the world. But I think like I never thought of being sensitive as a good thing until like adult, like maybe 2 years ago. Like, and I'm like, oh no, this is like my superpower. Like it is being sensitive and like aware of the world.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because it's not fun being around somebody that's just always like, brr, like, you know, like just very, like almost like they always have a hard shell. Because then it's also like they're just holding in all of that stuff. So I've, at least in my experience, like whenever I've seen somebody like that, they've taken criticism, but not necessarily done anything with it.
Right.
Because they're just kind of like, nah, like I'm like, this is the way that I am. You have to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, dude, come on, like look inward a little bit.
Yeah. I think we're probably all sensitive. I think we're just trying to.
There's some real douchebags out there though.
Yeah. But do you think like some of that too is also like the whole thing of like hurt people, like
but then there's also like people that are just narcissists and like
that's true.
Like sociopaths that don't feel anything.
Yeah, you can only take that like so far before you're like, all right, I understand something happened to you, but you need to work past it because you're
1,000%.
You're affecting other people's lives with it.
Yeah, you have to have boundaries. I think
it's kind of like somebody that just keeps cheating, like they just habitually cheat. It's like,
for sure.
Dude, there's a reason that you do this, probably because you grew up in a home where your mother or your father constantly cheated and you saw it. It's a pattern that you witnessed, and like this is the way that you see the world. So like now you're making it somebody else's problem.
Yeah, you're hurting someone else dealing with your own shit.
Yeah.
Like at that point, just
or the opposite of it, where like somebody just constantly gets cheated on because that's also what they saw in the home. It's like, oh, this is normal. It just happens.
And they have no boundaries either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they need to learn those boundaries.
Life is hard, man. It's so hard.
Yeah,
I
wish I grew up in the 50s. I would.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude, it would have been awesome. Just suppress everything, die at like 54.
He just always wants to die.
I just want to see what's on the other side.
Okay.
What do you think happens? Like, do you think we come back in some form? Do you think that's just the end? Do you think there is a heaven or hell?
I believe everything just in case.
I just want to be right on some level.
There's a theory of that, of like have little parts of each religion just in case one of them is correct. So you're like, yeah, but I believe this, and they're like, okay,
you're
cool.
placing bets on everything.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're hedging your bets. I like that.
No,
I hope
the cynic in me is like nothing fucking happens. You just go into a hole and the worms eat you. And then the optimist in me is like your life form just gets reabsorbed into the universe, and then it is given back.
I think reincarnation.
You know? I'm starting to believe more and more in that too, because I feel like that's the only thing that makes like sense to me. Like it doesn't make sense if it's just like it's just this and then. But then I don't know, the whole thing like with the aliens has really like transformed everything. Like with the government just being like, oh yeah, they're real. It's like, wait, what? Like this is such a huge thing.
I think they did. I think they made COVID so that they could raise inflation, or inflation would rise, and then when they do have to finally like tell us about the aliens, because the aliens are like, either you tell them or we will.
Yeah, because
we don't give a fuck because we're
like,
trying to pay our rent.
Yeah.
Over here.
Interesting. Yeah, because I thought I saw something. They said like they're coming in like 2027 or something.
What? I didn't see that.
Or like that's why they're slowly releasing it. Like there's some sort of like game plan. I don't know.
Oh my God. I hate knowing stuff.
I think we were born at the wrong time. This is also why I wish we were born in the 50s. Our grandparents didn't have to worry about this shit. They were just like,
aliens.
have kids,
well,
take care
I mean,
of them.
also that's easy for you to see as a man. Like I feel like things were extra bad for
send
women.
us back
like
to the 50s?
domestic violence
What
was like
the
at a high. Like we couldn't even
But-
have a credit card.
I know,
like,
dude.
But you don't have to work.
but
No,
no,
it's
power
more
dynamics,
work. It's
like-
way more work. Thank you so much. Speaking as a mother of 5.
Fine. Things are better now with inflation. With inflation and aliens. But cool, you can vote. Kudos.
I hate you so much. No, they were saying that like the aliens technology is 50,000 years ahead of ours. So like they don't give a fuck about us. They just don't want us to ruin the planet.
Like, are we their reality show? Like, are we their tragic hot mess?
I think so. I think we're their ants.
I don't know. I feel like it's more the ones that would come to us are probably like closer on the level than what their aliens are, you know? So I feel like the aliens that are above them, like it's just like cyclical almost, you know? Because like at least the way that I see Earth is like there are lost civilizations that were lost like way before any of us were here, and they were advanced civilizations. You know?
So you think like the Earth started over too?
Yeah. There has to be some type of cataclysm that has to happen for the Earth to like the Earth will eventually get to a point where whether it's humans or whether it's like another form of humans, where everything just needs a reset. You know, it's well documented. Like even in the Bible, like the Great Flood, Noah's Ark, and everything.
The animals.
Yeah, and then there's also lost civilizations where it's like, oh shit, we just like they keep finding civilizations that are older than what we expected, or even ones that are like between 5,000 and 8,000 years old. Where it's like, oh shit, and then like even with the pyramids, it's like they don't understand.
There's no way they could do it on their own. Like, they needed some other force.
So either they had the technology and we're just like, oh no, they were dumb people because they were in the past. So there's no way that this could have ever been made. So now we are I feel like we're at the beginning of like something big is going to happen to where it just sets off an entire thing of like probably within the next like 1,000 years, humans are going to be eradicated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, but
I mean, we won't be here. We'll be dead already.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
But,
all right.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know. I think you brought up a way bigger topic than I was prepared for today. Because I'm also hungover.
Are you? Did you drink that much?
Yeah.
you don't seem hungover. If that.
Damn. Good, I'm hiding it well.
I think this is the beginning of the reset with all the aliens, and probably
That's
like
fascinating.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I will say I've had a like more like casual approach to life now though when the aliens were announced, because I'm like, well, does this email even matter? Like the aliens are coming. Like
For
this
real.
meeting could have been an email.
Yeah, honestly. Damn. No, I don't know. I hope they do come.
But then but okay, so we're like,
They don't care about us.
you guys are still young, but like what about your kids that are like super young? Like what life are they gonna
I don't want to
like?
think about that.
It'll probably just be normal to them.
It'll be normal.
Honestly.
Yeah, like they have
Every
alien besties.
Nah, I don't
Alien
think that
besties.
normal. Maybe their grandkids will be like, yeah, aliens are here. Like there's some in my class.
Yeah, it'll be like Star Wars.
But do you think we could procreate with aliens?
Oh, that would be
Or
nice.
like
Hopefully. Hope so.
I'm not racist, so yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm not racist.
They're a race.
Species.
Oh, I'm not species, so yeah. I'm gonna get
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
Maybe it's even better.
babe?
I don't know. I feel
Well,
like
if they have like that knowledge, that's like, yeah, it's got to be better.
they just touch your shoulder and you're like, oh god.
Damn, I hope my kids have great sex with these aliens, man.
Your
telling you, it's not your
grandbabies
Oh,
are gonna
my
be.
grandbabies are gonna be like extra arms and shit. I love all your arms.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a lot of like fighting before it gets to that point.
No, I
know?
don't think so. I don't think they.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
that they care. I don't think the aliens care enough about us. What I also heard was that like they don't care about us, but what we're doing to the planet will affect the galaxy, and
galaxy.
everything
Interesting.
else. So that's what they
That makes
care
sense.
about.
Yeah.
They're probably like, we don't care about you. Just please don't mess it up.
Yeah. Aren't a lot of them like shapeshifters? Like they like
That's
can look away, but
scary.
then they can look like a human if they want to.
I wonder if in like
Like, I
50
felt
years.
50,000
amongst
years
us.
advanced technology. I think they should be able to do that.
Yeah.
I would actually be like,
Yeah, if we have
step
this
up your
sketchy
game,
AI
bro.
on TikTok, they have like
They got
it
it.
down
Yeah.
pat. Yeah.
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 I
I
feel
would
like in
actually be
50
disappointed. I'd be like, come back when you're like 100,000 years advanced, okay? Because you're really lacking.
Yeah.
You're really lacking.
You know, like the way people look back on movies from like the 80s and 90s, where
When
they're
they're
just
trying
like,
to
oh my
catch
god,
on.
I can't believe like people thought this way. This is what this podcast is gonna be. in like 20, 30 years, and you're
It's
like,
not gonna age
did,
well.
did Marissa really say they're shapeshifters? Oh my god.
Shapeshifters is going to be a derogatory
I hope that
term.
this is the way that I'm canceled. I hope
Yeah,
this is the way.
That's awesome.
I also think that's like a cyclical nature where it's like for every person to get their freedom, they have to go through like people not being accepting of it. Yeah. You know, like with the civil rights movement of people not wanting like Black people to vote or Hispanics to like own property or shit like that.
Right. You also don't have the language for it. Like, you know, if shapeshifter is not the right term, like, well, the government's not giving me the better term. You know, like
so I don't know
or whatever. For when you cancel me. But,
sorry in advance.
But it is weird, like how, you know, there is progress, but then there's also just like the light years we have to go.
Yeah.
Because even just thinking about like when I think about like my grandmothers were both like homemakers, and that was like kind of the only option for that.
I would have hated to have gone through what my grandmother went through.
Yeah.
It was
insane.
Like forced into marriages. Like I know my grandma on my mom's side was like basically forced into marriage. Like
our grandma she
got married young.
She had her first baby at
15?
14.
14?
And then the guy that she was with didn't want her anymore, and I think he was even married. So he said that she had to leave, but she couldn't take her baby. What? So our oldest aunt wasn't raised with our mom, like, and her siblings.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So like, but to have to go through that, like, bitch, no.
Yeah. And then also having the pressure of like the church being like, no, you can't get divorced. Like, why would you even think of that?
And also, you can't get a job.
Yeah.
So like, she was a seamstress. She would like but she worked from home. So it wasn't she was like out here trying to be a secretary or something, you know, like she had to make her own money.
Yeah.
And then like my mom would tell me that she would go grocery shopping and then she would just get like the rotted fruits and then cut out the rotted part and then they would eat like, I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. No, it's so hard. I mean, I know you glamorized the 50s, but
yeah.
You did though. But you did.
For men. That's all I'm saying. Right. It was awesome because I have a penis.
But yeah, like my grandma had a similar thing. Like my grandfather like cheated when my grandma was pregnant with like her second or third kid, and he had like an illegitimate kid with another woman, and then his mom, so my great grandma, wanted my grandma to raise this illegitimate kid, and my grandma was like, absolutely not. So then that kid just stayed with like my great grandma. But that, like, I just learned about that story. I can't even imagine crazy, having a husband. I know like illegitimate kids were like a big thing, especially back in the day, because easier to hide it too.
Yeah.
I was at an open mic and I just asked somebody in the audience like if they hated their dad, and one dude was like, yeah, and he was like a little older, and I was like, oh shit. Like, you hate your dad for, like, a good reason, you know, because you're, like, 40 and you still hate your dad.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, well, me and my younger half-sister are only 9 months apart.
Yeah. That's so must. Yeah.
Yeah, and his parents were still together.
Like, that's insane. See?
So, like, his dad had another family, like, just in, like, a city over. And I was like, damn, that was the 80s when you could do that shit.
Yeah, now you can't.
Facebook ruined that.
Yeah, for real. Social media. Yeah. Now. But people still do it.
Yeah. Because, like, our dad, he grew up with a woman that he thought was his mother for the first, like, 7 years of his life. It wasn't until our grandpa died that his real mom came back and was like, hey, you're my kid, by the way.
What?
So I'm going to take
you're
you
biologically mine. And then he had, like, 6 other siblings that he had no idea he had. So he went from being a only child
and our grandpa was rich. He had, like, land in Mexico and shit, and he had, like, stores. Wow.
To going to his biological mom's with 6 other kids, poor.
Very.
Dude, and then that's why he left us.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when did your did your grandparents move here to America, or did your
No, it was our parents.
Your parents.
So
okay,
we're first generation.
Yes, yeah, we're first because both of our parents are from Mexico. Our dad is from Baja, so like he moved up when he was like 14 with one of his older brothers, and then he was here from a young age, you know. And then
but so was our mom because
she would come up when she came up the first time when she was 20.
15.
15?
Yeah, because my mom and Madrina knew each other, and my mom would tell me stories about Madrina when she was in high school because she was at White, and so she would come to like
parties and shit.
Yeah, she would just come for like weekends or whatever.
Oh, okay, but I meant living.
Yeah, like living was like
she started living here when she was 20.
Yeah,
and then my dad moved over here, and they met. and then had us, and then they got divorced when we were like 14, 13.
Say what 13. It is. He abandoned us.
How is that? That's like a pivotal age, like.
Yeah,
15.
that's how our podcast started, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we just cried on camera.
We just like the first 60 episodes is just audio, and that's kind of how like I feel like how we healed. A little bit. It got better.
Therapy.
Yeah, we should.
It was also weird for us because we've said this before on the podcast, but like our parents didn't fight because
in front of us. No.
Yeah, and
so
like,
we didn't know
didn't speak
that anything was wrong when he left.
Wild.
And then we got evicted, and
that's wild.
Crazy.
It's like one of those weird things where like, you know, they say like don't fight in front of your kids, but then also to blindside your kids, it's also like that must be traumatizing.
It was in 2007 or 8. So that had a big thing to do with it, I feel.
Like the housing crisis.
Like the recession.
The recession. Yeah.
He was really worried about losing the house we didn't live in. But yeah, I think it was a big thing because like at the time, I knew a lot of kids that their parents were getting divorced because of that.
I had most of my friends didn't have a dad in their home.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So like, and she grew up with people that like her dad wasn't in, their dads weren't in the picture.
So they would, my dad was like their
surrogate father, basically.
Yeah. And then so he kind of left all of us, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but that goes back to us like knowing that people have shit in their lives, like hurt people. Yeah. Right. He didn't know how to deal with whatever the fuck it was going through. So he fucked us too.
Yeah.
And then there was also a thing of like, because we saw other people, at least for me, I don't know how it was for you. I was like, damn, I'm glad my parents are still together. You know, it's pretty cool. Like they never fight. They barely talk.
Red flag.
It's normal.
That's normal for like a 13-year-old.
That's so funny. Well, I think it was a TikTok or something, and I saw it. It was like your sibling, and that's why I'm so jealous of you guys. It said like your siblings are like one of the most important relationships in your life because they're there for everything. Like your kids and your husband or kids and your spouse come too late, and your parents leave too early. Yeah, and it's like you guys have like your whole life. You have your whole life together.
Yeah, but it is weird because we remember things differently too.
That's also why the podcast came up, because we would like talk about things and then we would realize that we had almost none of our memories are the same.
No.
That's wild.
Yeah,
because like she has this one memory that I have no idea. I don't know if it was just because I was too young or I just blocked it out. But we were at the movie theaters. I remember when you told me this. Like, we were at the movie theaters, and then something about a cop came up to us.
Yeah. So I was 13. He had to have been like 11.
What?
Yeah.
No,
and
I thought we were kids.
The cop was like discriminating against our parents because they were Hispanic. Yeah. And I remember the guy was just like talking to them crazy. And then me thinking that I was being like a good older sister, I grabbed my brother and pulled him away. Well, that turned into a fight in the car with my parents because they were like, you speak English and you should have said something. I was 13.
Oh, yeah.
But he remembers none of this. So that's like...
I definitely
you think you blocked it?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely blocked that out.
It's crazy how
I thought you said it was like when I was like 5.
No, we were older.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's crazy how like your mind will protect you.
Oh,
yeah.
Like my husband, when his parents got divorced, he blocked out like the entire 3rd grade. Like he has no recollection of like a whole year of his life. I'm like, that's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's how we adapt.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. It's like we don't know that we already went through this, so maybe the next time around that we face some kind of trauma, then
but at least you have your sister to remember that for you, because I probably blocked out stuff and like no one's here to remember it. Like,
but I could also use that to manipulate him to be like, remember that one time when you was just such an asshole to me? Oh, you blocked it out? Well, I'm here to remind you. How convenient. Yeah, dude.
I don't know if it's because of my old age, but not old age.
My old age.
You're a baby.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember a lot from elementary school. Just like a lot of it is gone.
I feel like I had like photographic memory back in the day.
I remember everything.
Really?
Like I still give my mom shit for stuff. Like my parents forgot me on the first day of 1st grade, and I'll still like just casually mention it.
My mom forgot me, but I think I was like 1st grade or kindergarten. But I didn't I didn't think of it as anything bad. I remember thinking like, oh, she's just late, probably it's just a minor inconvenience. And then I was sitting out. This was like, because now I know I've dropped her kids off at school. It's like a whole fucking to do.
Yeah.
Our parents would be late to work and barely slow down for us to get out of the fucking car.
Yeah, dude, it is. That's crazy.
And now there's like a line, like you have to get there like it's a fucking club.
Yeah, they have like a code and like they have to give it to the teacher.
Oh,
and then the
wow.
teacher gives it
That's
to
good. So no one steals your kid.
Yeah. I love it.
I guess it's cool.
I'm very
but
paranoid.
I don't know. I went to school in the early 2000s, late 90s. Kids.
Yeah, getting out of elementary school, we just had to like go and run and find like
we found the car.
Yeah.
We just had to find the car.
And now like the kids have to get in line and stuff. But it's also because of all the shootings and stuff, I think.
Yeah,
that too.
sure.
That makes sense.
See.
If they track the kids.
See, if it's scary to raise kids in New York, it has to be scary to raise kids in Texas. Going back to what your husband was saying, like for him to want to raise kids in Texas, that's scary too. With like the
that's a
school
whole other
shootings
thing. Like there's cultural differences. I will say, like, I feel like, as someone who didn't grow up, like I grew up with like, I don't think I knew anybody that owned a gun. And like here, it's just like such a cultural thing to own a gun.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I feel like living in Texas has made me more like understanding of the world, because I do understand, like, while like I don't go hunting for deer or whatever, like I understand that that's like something like people do. So I understand why like some of my coworkers have like a ton of guns and stuff. And even like, especially during COVID when like everything was like up in the air, I was like, should I go ask my coworkers for some deer meat? Like,
oh hell no, I would never. Poor
Deer meat?
Bambi. Oh no, I would.
if you
hate
were
it.
hungry,
I mean, okay,
you would eat Bambi. You would be, you would be
True.
chowing down on a Bambi
But I wouldn't
burger.
like it. I would cry. Poor Bambi.
But if you kill one deer, you can eat for like a year.
Yeah.
So
A
much
cow.
meat.
Have you seen the cow? Like how they
Cow.
sell cows?
No.
You can buy a whole cow for like $4,000 and it'll last you a year. And the people that sell them, they'll cut them to like you'll get like 10 steaks.
I
Like-
wouldn't want to know though. Like I wouldn't
No.
be like Sarah, my cow. And, like this is. I feel
Well, you
like there
don't
has
name
to be
it.
some separation of like. But that is interesting. Because I know
Yeah.
like my coworkers, like they'll do like little steak, like deer steak kind of things. But then they'll also do sausage and like
Yeah.
hamburger or grind it,
And
kind of like
they'll
hamburger.
freeze it for you.
And they'll freeze it, yeah.
Wrap it for you.
Yeah,
We
because
were
if
thinking about it.
you like wrap it and freeze it, then you can just keep it like forever.
Yeah.
You just need like a big enough freezer
That's
to
why
store it all.
it'll save up for like a year. Or you'll be good for a year.
And I do sometimes fantasize like about like, how we live in such a modern world and it's so complex. Like I do wish there was like a simpler world
Yeah.
where like you could maybe not like hunt like that, but like, get
At
fish
least
and like
grow
gather
your own.
berries and
Yeah.
like that just sounds so nice.
The
compared-
TikToks, when they were coming
yeah.
out, when everyone was home and they had nothing else to do and they were like growing their
Yeah.
fruits and veggies stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
A lot of
that's
people are doing
awesome.
that. It's homesteading.
Homesteading,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doing.
I could never.
It's a lot of work, but also like because you're doing that work, it's more fulfilling, honestly.
maybe.
Because
Who
like
has the time?
No.
well, that's the
I'm a
thing
city
is,
girl
like,
for life, baby.
a friend of mine from Austin was telling me about how like he used to go up to like during the picking season, he would go from Austin up to like Maine and they would pick certain fruit for like the season and people would just get paid to do that.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, because I don't remember what he does. He works in something where he just took off like a big amount of time. I think it was a bartender or something. So he just took off like a bunch of time and then went up there, made a bunch of money and then just came back. But it's just like a thing of like, oh, it's only for this season that I have to be up there and pick like
Yeah.
fruit and shit. And like a lot of people, that's how they make their living. They just travel around the country, just like, I'm going to go help out at this homestead.
That's
And
fascinating.
they'll let me live there.
I could never.
Well, and
Sounds
that's why
awesome.
I feel like I have no skill sets. You know what I mean? Like it's like if things
You can
got
type.
bad. Yeah, but like an email, like how am I going to send an email like when the aliens come like that? I don't know.
True.
I just think like, if I needed to survive on my own, I can't. Like,
if you had to, I don't even know how to make a fire.
yeah.
There's a YouTube for that.
But we're
There's a TikTok for
saying
that.
like once we get obliterated and some of us are still living, like how do we still feed ourselves?
You figure it out. You
Okay.
at somehow you figure it out or you die.
Or you die.
It's the only two options, which is what makes it easy. You either figure it out or
I would
you
not
die.
want to be a survivor.
Me neither.
I'm just
Kill me
like,
now.
I would just, I want to go.
I'll go as long
first.
as I can. and then I would.
I'll volunteer as tribute.
Nah.
I'll go. Bye.
You gotta go out fighting.
No,
I feel like
You don't get into heaven if you don't go out fighting. Fun fact.
I'm
No,
bye.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm like,
well, he
whatever.
believes in everything. So.
Yeah.
That's gotta be somebody's
You would
religion.
know.
I'll just reincarnate now.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Come back
Come
as
back as
an
an
alien.
alien?
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
podcast.
you guys
We
for
don't wanna
having
keep you
me.
any
Yeah, it was
longer.
fun.
We talk so
Fun.
much. Is there anything you want to plug? Give us your Instagram name.
Yeah, it's Marissa Nieto. For Instagram, all my show stuff is posted on there. Also, I host a show at Dallas Comedy Club. Oh my God, Dallas Comedy Club. First Friday of every month. So come to Dallas Comedy Club. Check it out. First Friday at 7. But thank you guys so much for having me. It was so fun to chat.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Guys, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Make sure you're following, subscribing, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.